Muy complejo y muy difícil de poderlo llevar, pero al final del día lo cumplimos y bueno, este próximo 6 de diciembre venimos por la victoria.
But Roach is having moments here. Oh, the right hand by Roach. Oh, another left hook upstairs by Cruz. And now Cruz connecting on Fierro.
I don't care about all that who's bigger, all that. I don't care about that. Let your hands talk then.
Oh, I'm gonna talk and I'm gonna show you,
Let
boy. What you mean?
Nice, beautiful combination by Fulton.
Knockdown being scored for the champ in round 12.
Welcome to Texas.
It is great to be here in San Antonio, Texas.
You're going to expect what they call a bomb burner. It's going to be a hell of a fight, a hell of a night, and look for me to be victorious.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Premier Boxing Champions. Arrowspats Jr.
Gervonta Davis drops Ryan Garcia. Tremendous close to this fight.
This is Premier Boxing Champions.
Alamo City. We're in San Antonio, a town dripping in rich boxing history. You know, this big town boxing town has produced multiple world champions, hosted legendary fights, and tonight, high-stakes fight card is going down here inside the Frost Bank Center. And the main event, well, it features a Reaper and a Pitbull who went face-to-face at their final weigh-in. Lamont Roach is making his debut at 140 pounds. Eastside Pitbull Cruz, he's looking to reclaim the super lightweight title he lost last year. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Custer. Welcome to San Antonio. You know, this fanatical fight town has produced some legendary fights, and well, tonight it plays host to an intriguing matchup between a diminutive, aggressive brawler and a skilled boxer counterpuncher. Lamont Roach and Eastside Pitbull Cruz are two or only three fighters to go the distance with lightweight titleist Gervonta Tank Davis. You know, 4 years ago, Pitbull fought Davis, lost a decision, but won a legion of new fans. This past March, Roach felt he fought flawlessly against Tank, yet walked away with a controversial draw. Well, tonight, the Reaper is making his debut at 140 pounds, and the winner of this high-stakes fight walks away with an interim belt and the #1 spot atop the division. Let's take a look at the entire pay-per-view fight card that you will see tonight. And of course, we'll begin the broadcast with middleweights, Jesus Ramos and Shane Mosley Jr. He's the son of the Hall of Famer. They'll fight for an interim belt as well. Then you'll see middleweight champ Landy Lara. He's going to defend his strat against last-minute replacement Johan Gonzalez. You know, Lara was originally scheduled to fight unified champion Janibek Alim Hanala, who pulled out of the fight when he tested positive this week for a banned substance. Of course, the co-main, man, it will be a barn burner. It will feature the WBC Featherweight champion Stephen Fulton Jr. moving up in weight to challenge the WBC Super Featherweight champion O'Shaquie Foster. Surprising turn of events. Fulton weighed in 2 pounds over the 130-pound limit, will not be eligible to win Foster's belt. And now the WBC has determined this bout will be fought at 135 pounds. And of course, the main event features Lamont Roach taking on Eastside Pitbull Cruz. Roach, currently the WBA 130-pound champion, making his debut at 140 pounds. Of course, joining me, the Boxing Hall of Famer, Joe Goosen. Good to have you back here, partner. All right, so look, you know Pitbull, he's got one bite, and it's relentless.
That's
it is pressure, pressure, pressure.
That's right.
Is that enough against Lamont Roach, you think?
Well, it's been enough for a lot of guys.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of wins and a lot of knockouts. And one thing's for sure, and you just pointed out, he's not going to change. He comes out of the chute real fast. There's no feel-out period for Isaac Cruz. If you remember back just last year, or about a year ago when he fought Angel Fierro, that was the fight of the year. One of the greatest fights in the last 5 years, to tell you the truth. This guy is just very aggressive, and for his height and reach, he has to get close to you. So he makes it a point to really come out fast and hard, tries to take you out early, and if he doesn't, he sustains that pace. He's one of the most exciting fighters out there right now in boxing.
All right, so let's talk about Lamont Roach, and it seems like he has steadily moved up the chain. You know, last time we saw Lamont Roach fight, he went up in weight, 135. It seemed like he handled it well against Tank Davis. Well, tonight he's moving up another 5 pounds. This time against a more aggressive fighter. Do you think he handles this assignment well?
I do. He's 30 years old now. He's putting on a little bit more weight. You know, that's what happens. You get from 25 to 30, you know, your body changes. And look, the only thing I doubted about him with this fight against Tank was not his ability, not his agility, not his athleticism or his prowess. It was his knockout power. In other words, could he hurt Tank enough to get his respect? That's what you have to do with somebody like Tank. And boy, he did that, you know, more than I expected. So I think his power will actually probably be better at 140 than it is at 135.
We'll see what happens. By the way, he is the 130-pound champion. They say the sanctioning body is going to take away that strap when he enters the ring at 140 pounds. Listen, folks, you can use your phone or any mobile device to purchase that pay-per-view, and it is a card stacked with high-stakes fights. Just scan the QR code that you see there on your screen. All right, I want you to take a look now at our preliminary action that we have here for you on Prime Video. And, of course, really the showcase bout of the prelims features the return of the Ghost, Frank Martin, taking on former world champion Rances Barthelemy. That will be the featured bout here on Prime Video. So, it's time to get this thing started. Let's go ringside to the men who are going to call all the action. Mauro Ranallo, Brian Campbell, and Justin Goosen Brown. Welcome back, Mo.
Hey, thanks a lot, BC. It's beginning to look a lot like Fight Night. It's an evening of action tailor-made to our satisfaction. And Brian Campbell, the main event, an epic clash of styles at 140.
Those that know in boxing have been rightfully salivating for this fight since it's been announced. For as much as their styles contrast each other, it's the similarities that is going to make this a special night. Both fighters are so hungry to make their name as much as they maybe announced themselves due to their performances against Tank Davis. It's what's at stake tonight against one another. Stardom. Both are hungry. I expect high-speed chess that hopefully will turn into a shootout.
Justin, the undercard deeper than the San Antonio River. Give us the headlines.
Oh man, what a great card we have on that pay-per-view. We're going to get it started with those two middleweights matchups going. Maybe potentially the winners facing off in the near future, but the co-main event as a fight fan, that's the one I'm most looking forward to. What a competitive matchup between O'Shaquie Foster, Stephen Fulton. May end up stealing the show tonight.
Who says disco's dead? We are staying alive, and the action is going to be hot and heavy during the prelims on Prime Video. We get started in the 126-pound weight class. The undefeated Luis Nunez taking on the hard-charging Hector Sosa, who has faced 5 undefeated opponents. All right, set for 10 rounds in the featherweight division. Let's go to ring announcer Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Frost Bank Center here in San Antonio, Texas. This is the PBC Prelims on Prime Video. we begin the action. 10 rounds in the featherweight division. Your 3 judges scoring this contest at ringside will be Jesse Reyes, Ignacio Robles, and Jose Torres. The referee in charge when the bell sounds is John Shorley. Introducing first, fighting to my right out of the red corner. He comes in wearing the violet and the black. Official weight, 125 pounds. His record, 18 wins, 9 of those coming by way of knockout against 3 defeats. Fighting out of Junín, Buenos Aires, Argentina. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, presenting Hector La Máquina Sosa. And across the ring, his opponent fighting to my left out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the black and the platinum. Official weight, 126 pounds. As a professional, he's perfect. 21 bouts, 21 victories, 14 of those coming by way of knockouts. Joining us from Nagua, Dominican Republic, ladies and gentlemen, here is the undefeated Luis the Twist Nunez. And here to give instructions, the referee in charge is John Shorley.
These trunks are good right there. Okay, guys, give me a good, clean fight. Obey my commands and protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves, good luck.
Featherweight action to begin the prelims on Prime Video. Nunez, a high-volume pressure boxer who grinds opponents down with pace, jabs, and tight fundamentals. Sosa, a forward-marching pressure fighter with a sturdy chin, has never been stopped, always pushing the pace and willing to grind. And immediately it's Nunez, the longer fighter, looking to establish the jab, which is going to be a key weapon for him tonight against a fighter who relentlessly pursues the attack. And immediately Sosa going to the body, which would be wise to do throughout this encounter.
Certainly part of Sosa's makeup of what got him here, and I don't know if you saw that big smile on his face when he entered the ring. Sosa is excited for this opportunity, starting off a little passive, though, for his typical high-pressure self.
And that sometimes can be Nunez's problem as well. We know he has all the skills in the world, 21-0, 14 knockouts, but we'd like to see him be a little more active in terms of output.
Yes, Nunez likes to come forward, but he's also a pretty good counterpuncher, so he does have that tendency to kind of sit back and wait for something, and he knows that Sosa does like to come forward himself, especially with that overhand right, so he's just kind of taking a minute to get that feel, especially the power of Sosa.
Yeah, Nunez, not a one-shot finisher. He wins with accumulation and conditioning, carrying his output deep into rounds, and Sosa attacking with left hooks.
Yeah, and you'll see Sosa, as you mentioned, Brian, he is fighting a little bit different. He's way more composed, a little bit more conventional, keeping those shots tighter than he has in the past.
And Brian Sosa's at his best when he can cut the ring, pressure, and force a close quarters fight, but it's Nunez dictating the terms early.
Indeed. I think Sosa's also at his best when he's the underdog, when he's counted out. 2 years ago, he was a 6-1 underdog when he stepped into the ring against James Jazza Dickens in Dubai and knocked him out in the 10th round. He's done it before. He's ready to do it again.
He's hoping to hear from the game at 50 cents. Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top. Just over a minute left here in our first round and plenty of action. Both have thrown over 20 punches. Sosa with a slight edge in terms of connects, but it's Nunez, very composed, trained by top trainer Bob Santos, while Sosa has another veteran trainer, Manny Robles, in his corner, so both have great tutelage.
Yeah, but Manny Robles is known as that underdog trainer. He's had Andy Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua in the past. But as you noticed, Nunez is actually, for that minute there, he started to press Sosa back, but now it's Sosa taking control again.
We just saw Nunez land 3 jabs, breaking the high guard of Sosa. Sosa again going to the body, leaving his head exposed.
Indeed.
For a counter that we haven't yet really seen from Nunez, but like Justin said, he's a good counter puncher.
And I like Sosa's pressure right here to try to wake Nunez up a bit. He can be a slow starter in fights. He can also be an inactive fighter. This is the first time he's fighting twice in a calendar year in over 2 years.
Yeah, Sosa came to fight tonight, and he has been hurt in the past in that first round, so he's definitely taking his time.
And he's muted Nunez's offense. Coming into this fight, Nunez averaging 63 punches a round. In this round, he threw 36.
You gotta move more. More, a lot more punches, please. You gotta move faster, come on. Breathe in. Okay, good first round, good first round. Okay, relax. Give him some water. Listen, behind the jab, the right hand, either upstairs or downstairs. I don't want you at a distance. I want you in the close range. I'm trying to counter. I'm trying to counter. I'm trying to catch him with the counter. Listen, when he gets aggressive, just feint. Feint. He's going to eat the feint. He's looking for the feint himself. Just be aware. Be aware.
Great job by Abner Martis, who will join us on the PBC Pay-Per-View, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
The well-dressed Abner Maris, as always.
Always styling and profiling. And both of these guys like to bring the pressure. Pressure creates diamonds, and both Nunez and Sosa would like to shine bright like one here on this stage. And Nunez really utilizing the jab effectively, keeping Sosa at the end of his stick.
Yeah, Nunez has a great left hand, and as you saw, he tripled up on that jab even, and he's starting to show it a bit more. He also has a great left hook, and will even come over that top with a kind of a chopping GGG style left hook, and he says he kind of models that after him.
Good defense by Sosa there, picking off the jab with that high guard of Nunez. Brian, Sosa going to the body. It would be wise to really continue to try to make the investment against a guy who's physically bigger.
No question about it. It's his bread and butter of what he does well. He's sitting down on the punches there with the combinations and looking to back Nunez up. You don't want him to get comfortable behind that jab.
Nice combination by Nunez as Sosa was against the ropes. But you guys were right. You said it in the first round. A much different looking Sosa than I saw on tape. And it speaks to the level of opposition in that he's facing the best opponent of his career in the undefeated Nunez. And it's an international incident. Argentina Sosa with the Dominican Republic's Nunez. The global aspects of the sport of boxing. Nice double jab there by Nunez.
That's that switch to Manny Robles that really helped tighten up his game and kind of leave him less vulnerable to those counters that Nunez really can come at you, especially with that left hook Nunez is looking for.
Stiff jab there by Nunez.
Seemed to momentarily stop Sosa in his tracks. Just over a minute remaining in the second stanza, scheduled for 10 in the 126-pound division. Body shot by Sosa, lead left by Nunez. Sosa's throwing more, but Nunez is landing more here in the second frame, under a minute remaining.
And of course, Sosa from Argentina, a rich boxing tradition there. He talked to us in the fighter meetings. He said, I'm more like a Lucas Matisse style than a Marcos Maidana. Come forward, body shots, combinations. You're seeing that tonight.
Yeah, double left hook, upstairs, downstairs, well executed by Nunez.
You're really seeing Nunez is starting to find a home for that left hook, and he's using it. He's got great timing on it, and he's kind of checking when Sosa comes in and then finishing his combos like that.
Beautiful combination, punctuated with the left hook upstairs by Nunez, really setting his rhythm now. But here comes Sosa, chopping right hand at the end of that combination landed. Great action through 6 minutes here in San Antonio, Texas.
Look, everything's excellent. Really good, incredible. But don't get on the ropes. Remember, don't stay on the ropes. Don't get comfortable. I'm really happy. Breathe in. Let it out. Oh, when he comes in, catch him with that uppercut to the body. Pick upstairs, downstairs. Hard with that right. Really important.
We talked about the changes in Hector Sosa's attack. Well, we've seen Luis Nunez flip the script thus far. Coming into this fight, majority of his punches were power shots. Tonight, it's a big jabs advantage for Nunez, who is feeling the heat here in the Frostbank Center.
Nunez, to his credit, though, is starting to discipline Sosa with that lead left hook as he comes in looking to go to the body.
Yeah, and that jab as well, it's great defensively. It can kind of break that rhythm of Sosa as he's coming in.
It can create rhythm, it can break rhythm. Thank you, Stephen Breadman Edwards. 2.5 minutes left in the third.
Now you see with that jab of Nunez as well, Sosa's going to have to start really kind of overcommitting or trying to jump in there, and that's when you could start seeing that right hand from Nunez come in.
Sosa really committing to those right hands.
Now it's showing the jab, but picked off by the longer Nunez. Now Sosa squaring up in front of Nunez and eating a couple of jabs through the guard. He needs to angle in. He needs to find angles, try to get away, try to find a way to the body. But that jab and the rhythm of Nunez seems to be frustrating Sosa right now.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a difficult time getting through that really strong jab that Nunez has. And you can see when Sosa does look for that right hand, that's when Nunez is trying to counter him with that quick left hook.
And to Brian's point, Sosa, though, doing what he's supposed to do, trying to go to the body and landing some nice left hooks when he throws them.
Indeed, and the more he has been able to mix up his attack there as Nunez lands another clean left hook, I think it's what's making this fight competitive, because Nunez said coming in, Sosa's got a style I've seen many times before. It's a come forward style, I'm ready for it. But if Sosa can continue to add those wrinkles, we're going to see a good matchup here.
There's a catch and shoot by Sosa. He's got the high guard, Justin, but it's a leaky one.
Yeah, I mean, look, as this fight goes on, you could train him as hard as he wants, but when he gets hit, he's going to want to go back to that style. He wants to get you back.
Three-punch combination, punctuated by a left hook to the liver. Nice combination upstairs by Nunez.
Look, when Nunez opens up, he's an incredible offensive fighter. Sometimes it's just you want to see him active in the ring. You want to see him take fights.
Coming into the fight, most of his punches thrown were power shots. 14 of his 21 victories have come via form of knockout. But it's the jab that is dictating terms thus far in this fight.
And maybe part of why we're seeing such a sharp, busy Nunez is not just the pressure of Sosa, but Nunez knows this is the fight that can catapult him to a title opportunity.
Yeah, and he's been working with Bob Santos, as we mentioned, and kind of dialing in that game plan. And he is known as a counterpuncher, but he's going against a guy with some power, so he is kind of taking his time, feeling it, and then looking for that big opening for that counter shot, either that left hook or right hand.
So we talked about Nunez throwing a lot of power shots previously, but tonight it's all about the jab, BC.
Strong round there for Nunez, and look at the stick. When you can use that jab as a weapon, it can dictate the terms of the fight there. Nunez splitting the guard of Sosa. Got a lot of pepper on that stick, and he's been able to use it to not just discipline Sosa, but to set up that beautiful left hook.
Upstairs, downstairs. The jab. We need body shots. Okay, body shots now. You gotta pick downstairs though. But a lot more to the body, please. Body, body, please. It's open. The body's open, please. Body, body.
Trainer Bob Santos wants to see a lot more activity downstairs for Luis Nunez. Round number 4 scheduled for 10. Double left hook to the head to begin the round, and Sosa continues to go to the body. So Sosa's going to the body, but Santos wants Nunez to do the same thing, Brian.
Absolutely. You got to continue to put on those type of shots to give Sosa something to think about coming in there. Because the thing about Sosa, whether he lands or not, he's putting everything on each punch.
And Justin, it's obvious that Nunez has found that range with the jab, really doubling up on the left hook to the head.
Yes, and now what Bob wants him to do is kind of stand his ground at some of these points when Sosa does come forward and shoot an uppercut to the body. He was almost begging him to do it.
Nunez wanting to walk Santos into a counter right hand. Double jab splits the guard. And now some lateral movement, some footwork.
It's a good left hook to the body.
Yeah, more body shots. The footwork is not going to be as fancy or free. Lead right hand by Nunez. Lands, feinting by Sosa. Trying to get Nunez to bite. Parried that jab. Nice right cross by Sosa. And now Nunez temporarily bothered.
That's a shot Sosa needed as the momentum was going in the favor of Nunez.
I love the fact that Nunez just doesn't deliver one jab. He doubles and triples up on it, Justin.
Yeah, he is doubling and tripling, but he's not really throwing too many combinations. No. And I'll tell you, Sosa doesn't seem too bothered about Nunez's powers. Sosa seems like he's got the heavier hands in this fight.
This is more of the Sosa that we saw on tape. Very aggressive, come forward, blocks that jab. Now Nunez on the back foot.
Nunez has worked with trainer Bob Santos for more than 2 years, but the first 18 months of those, he was inactive. But the time put into the gym, you're starting to see it. Nunez, who just landed the big left hook, said Santos is teaching him how to sit down on those shots, rely on his power more. You're seeing that tonight.
45 seconds left in the fourth. Body shot by Nunez. Sosa with the high guard, goes to jab, couple of left hooks to the liver, misses with the right hand upstairs, and the pot shot jab by Nunez lands. Now it's Sosa trying to land with the jab, and does so.
Yeah, it's interesting, ebb and flow in this one. They both have pushed each other back, and when Nunez is behind that jab, that's when he could really start to push Sosa back. He's occupying that guard, but when he kind of lets up on it, that's when he allows Sosa to come forward.
Nunez missed the uppercut, but plants a jab on the nose of Sosa. Sosa lead hook to the body.
Keep working, keep working. Come on.
Ahí vamos.
Here we go, here we go. You stayed a little bit too long inside, but it was good. But listen, you got great conditioning. You got a great condition to win every single round. Don't stop. Don't get crazy. Don't get crazy, but we do have to fight now. If we're not working, you got to move your head. But we don't stay still. Don't be a target. Don't let them dictate the pace. You start first.
Back in a very competitive fourth round here. Left hook from Nunez going around the guard to the side of the head of Sosa.
Yeah, Sosa felt that one, but look, he comes back later in the round, and there's that good left hook, got around that guard, around that elbow, and dug it to the body. Really nice shot from Sosa there.
The bell and round 5 scheduled for 10 in the featherweight division. Luis Nunez in the black and platinum, undefeated at 21-0 with 14 knockouts. Hector Sosa in the violet and black. He is 18-3 with 9 knockouts. Now, Sosa against mid-level contenders, he can overwhelm with volume and toughness, but against sharp movers with reach and technical polish like a Nunez, he struggles to close the distance and can get outboxed.
That is going to be his Achilles heel against movers like that. But if you did notice last round, it seemed like that right hand of Sosa started to discipline the jab away from Nunez, something he's got to continue to try to capitalize on.
Yeah, if he could get that timing of the jab, he could come right over the top of it with the right hand, but also that left hook to the body that he's starting to find a home for. There's a good rhythm disrupting jab from Nunez there.
Nunez went downstairs with left hooks to the body. Right hand there, land by Sosa, and I think, you know, not to say he's Vasily Lomachenko by any means, but that's what you want to do. You want to throw combinations while moving and angling off.
Yeah, and that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah,
on the move. And you'll notice Nunez, he is pretty, he doesn't waste much in there. Good finish to that combo with a good left hook, but he doesn't use his feet that much.
But he likes to go straight back. You should be angling off.
Because he likes to sit down on those shots and get a lot behind it.
Yep. Body shot lands for Sosa. A minute and a half left in the 5th. Bob and weave by Nunez. That Nunez right hand hasn't really made much of an appearance, but the left uppercut was pretty good.
So is the double hook combinations that he's leading off here against Sosa.
Yeah, his left hand is his money. That's where he gets that jab, and then he'll come around with the hook, and now we can maybe see some uppercuts with it as well.
60 seconds remaining in the fifth. Beautiful left hook jab combination by Nunez. Sosa's body's the canvas, and Nunez is painting with his brush.
And there's that right hand right over the top of Sosa's jab. That's a shot that can be there for Nunez.
I mean, Sosa needs to move that head off center line. Tout sweet. That means quickly in French.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
I'm Canadian. We got two official languages. I have trouble with both. 30 seconds left in the fifth. Couple of left hooks to the liver by Sosa.
Oui, oui.
Ooh la la.
As Mauro mentioned, this is that kind of that Sosa we saw on tape where he, once this fight gets rolling, he's going to really want to come get you, and that's when the counters are open to him.
And yet it's Nunez with the crisp, eye-catching combinations.
I think Sosa might have outworked him this round.
A lot of low blows, man. His turns are high. I don't want to hear it again. All right. We gonna go in kind.
Listen. A lot easier when you use that jab, please. Breathe in. Incredible. Incredible. All I need is the body now.
And referee said, ahora es bonito.
The referee said, be
Let's
careful.
look back on the action
blows.
here in round 5. Another competitive round. As a two-punch combination there from Sosa coming back with the jab, but the counter from Nunez clean. You see the left hook downstairs, and Sosa answers, taking turns, landing big shots. And Sosa has done well to make this a very competitive fight.
Justin, you mentioned in the last round Sosa outworking Nunez. He threw 64 punches. Nunez threw 48, but Nunez landed 17 compared to 13 for Sosa, according to CompuBox. So it is a competitive affair. The jabs belong, as we see, to Nunez, but Sosa's landed more power shots. Although, again, looking at every round, to me, Nunez is still landing the more effective combinations. This is round number 6.
You see Sosa's really got Nunez on the move right here. I would like to see when Nunez is on that move, look for a counter like that right hand right there.
And yet you want to see Nunez on the move, Brian, by angling out and avoiding the offense of Sosa. Neither of them really, again, getting their heads off center line, but Nunez appears more comfortable with the tempo and the pace.
And a lot of that goes back to the instructions from Bob Santos and the work they've done in recent years to make him more dangerous, but it's Sosa again on the inside.
Justin, Santos wants Nunez to go to the body more. How does he do so? We're not seeing him do it.
Well, when he uses that jab, he could come forward with it, double it on it, triple on it, and then really start to load up, move his head, get down low, and shoot it to the body. Now, he could also finish his combinations with that left hook to the body as well.
What path do you see, Brian, to the body for Nunez?
Look, I think he's got to continue to work in that jab to make Sosa comfortable and then work those left hook combinations. Go high, go low, continue to flash that as he finally lands there a good clean right hand.
Yeah, when the left hooks to the head are that potent and that powerful, maybe you don't have to go to the body that much. He's a headhunter and it's proven to be successful.
Yeah, but he hasn't quite hurt him with it yet. He might have a chance to really dig down there in the body and kind of catch him with something he hasn't seen yet.
There's a nice jab to the body by Nunez. Sosa squaring up, high guard, lead right, uppercut, left to the body. Nice three-punch combination by Sosa. Leads with the right cross and then goes downstairs with the left hook.
If this really is the fight that could catapult Nunez to the next level, to the title level, he's going to have to go through a very tough test because Sosa is making him fight. Anytime the action slows, it tends to be Sosa filling in those blanks.
Yeah, you see what Nunez did right there a second ago. He shot that left hook and then took that step back. If he wants to get to that body, he's got to stand in there and kind of finish those combos.
The pull counter is there for Nunez with the right hand, but he's not pulling the trigger.
It doesn't look like he believes in his right hand.
And Sosa believes in his attack.
Nunez likes to have his feet planted to throw, so taking that step back and throwing the right hand is a little bit difficult for him.
That jab is highly effective, very sharp, but here comes Sosa, landing some punches, but Nunez rolling with the punches, taking some of the steam off.
Still some of those were eye-popping to the judges here as the competitiveness in this fight continues.
Look what you're doing. When you fight in the inside, you don't let them work. That's good. That's what we want. Don't give them time to work. Don't give them the space. Close distance. You got the advantage there. Give them water. Listen, at the close range, just don't get in too close. Okay? Listen to me. Boom, boom. When you hit in the inside, take that little side step and throw the right hand, and then go back to the body.
Yeah, and what Sosa, it's Nunez mostly one shot and Sosa throwing combinations, and there you see he goes up with that right hand over top left, right uppercut through the guard, then finishes with that left hook to the body. Really nice combo there from him.
Close range, come on.
Let's go. Sosa, the underdog, looking to come into San Antonio for the biggest win of his career, to change he and his family's life. He has 3 children. He first became a father at age 18, comes from a large family with 6 sisters. Imagine the battle for bathroom time in that household. And for Nunez, he started boxing at the age of 8, had 90 amateur fights, turned pro 6 weeks before his 20th birthday in 2018, and has shown knockout power early on, but as the level of opposition begins to grow, we shall see if that power is a factor. So far in this fight, it's been the jab that's been weaponized for Nunez. And this is round 7.
Sosa began boxing at age 11 inside the gym, by the way, of Carlos Castaño, the father of former unified junior middleweight champion Brian Castaño. So he's been around big-name Argentine fighters for much of his rise. And you can see that toughness and craft out here.
Yeah, we're looking for Nunez to land something of note that really makes Sosa not want to just keep walking forward like this, and he hasn't figured it out through these 7 rounds. It probably won't happen. It may if he lands it square on the button, but Sosa continues to walk forward, especially in these later second half of the fight. Big left hook from Nunez there.
Nunez keeping Sosa at range. There's the right hand, left hook. Sosa, durable.
Sosa acknowledged it. He shook his head saying, yep.
Yep, Sosa's been down twice in his career. Nunez has never been down as a pro, as Sosa does some shoe shining, and a referee warning him. How low can you go?
Yeah, and you heard Bob Santos earlier saying those shots are going low, and the ref said Nunez's trunks are very high, so he started to take note of it.
I believe he added, I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Under a minute left here in round number 7. Sosa marching forward, but he's missing a lot and getting countered.
The counter shovel uppercut from Nunez. Nunez, by the way, has blood now flowing from his nose.
Yeah, he landed a good shot, because sometimes Sosa, that's that old tape of him, he does get so overconfident, he wants to hurt you so bad that he will leave himself open, and Nunez landed a really good shot there. But once again, Sosa coming forward.
Nice lead left hook that bothered Sosa. There's another sharp jab by Nunez.
There's those power shots from Nunez, Justin, you were asking for.
Sosa throwing a lot of punches with bad intentions, but missing. And you wonder if it's taxing his gas tank.
Yep, and those power shots are landing, but one at a time. I want a little bit more from him after he hurts him to keep walking forward.
Oh, good counter jab by Nunez.
Good action once again here in round 7 as we see Nunez, the counter shovel uppercut off the back hook when he was backed up to the corner. And look at the timing here with that lead check left hook as Sosa was coming forward. He's picking up the timing of his aggressive opponent and now starting to make it pay.
Listen, relax. You're still working, I'm looking for the body, please. Give me the towel. You good? It's all you now, please.
We begin round 8, our opening contest here, PBC Prelims on Prime Video. Featherweight matchup between the undefeated Luis Nunez and the hard-charging Hector Sosa. Sosa has Nunez on the ropes, goes to the body, and Nunez does the veteran tactic of tying up. Santos continues to call for more body shots from Nunez. He just doesn't seem to be that interested in listening to his trainer.
Well, you see whenever Sosa does really work his way in there, that's when Nunez ties up just like that. So he's not really, that inside game is something that he could definitely improve, because that's where you could really start to dig to the body, get your shoulders on him, and look for those shots.
He lands the left hand, though, very effectively, Mr. Campbell.
That is his money shot, and he is showing it here, although blood continues to flow from the nose of Nunez.
He's going to give Rudolph a run for his money pretty soon.
Sure.
With how red that nose is.
Those beautiful white boxing shoes getting colored up.
Oh, another good combination lands for Nunez. That left hand is something else, though, Justin. What a highly effective weapon. Now, if he could just follow up with the right, it could be an early night.
Yeah, he's got great variation with that left hand, but once again, there's that clinch. I want to see him when he does stand his ground to look. He threw a left uppercut to the body. That's one weapon he could use.
You talk about classes in boxing, the levels, and you can see that, Brian. But Sosa's making it the kind of, trying to make it the fight that he wants, like this. Lands a left hook, but it appears to me he's unable to hurt Nunez with his shots.
Good right hand there, though, from Sosa. Snapped the head of Nunez back, but it came after a stretch in which Nunez continues to land that left hand. Good back and forth here.
Good defense by Nunez as well. Short movement. Just as he misses again with the right. Again, well done by Nunez. But where's the counter, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, it's just not quite. He does counter, and when he does land, he lands it really hard, and it does bother Sosa, but then Sosa continues to walk forward, and Sosa's doubling up on that right hand of his as well, and kind of starting to get a little bit closer to hitting on that chopping right hand.
Final minute of the 8th round. Left hook lands again for Nunez. Has been the story of the fight, his jab and his left hook upstairs. For Sosa, he's been trying desperately to slow Nunez down in terms of the work to the body that he's done and continues to do so, but he's not slowing Nunez down.
He is not. You wonder if Nunez could have more success with that jab if he moved along with it.
Beautiful left hook by Sosa, but look at Nunez. His head snapped back, Justin, but it didn't affect him whatsoever.
No, both these guys are so tough and really, really sturdy boxers. And look, we'll see at these last couple rounds here if Nunez does make any changes. I think it's going to pretty much be the same.
Good counter right and the left by Nunez.
Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Muy bien, no quiere.
Very good. He doesn't want to fight anymore. Look.
Gotta call that home. Ah, come on, man. No, nada. Quedan 9, te quedan 2.
It's okay. You got 2 rounds. You got 2 rounds. Listen. Just listen to me,
we talk
please.
about that left hand of Nunez, and there it is right there. Worked it through that guard. Sosa had his guard up, and he still snuck it in there. Really nice, short, tight shot. Then finishes with the jab, push him back. And then here comes Sosa coming back in, and there you go. That's the combinations we're talking about. Finish that combo with 2 jabs. The first couple missed, but then the great thing about combinations, last one can find it.
Listen, but when you pressure with an intelligent pressure, please.
Round number 9, the penultimate round. Brian Campbell, elucidate on intelligent pressure. Define it.
Intelligent pressure is landing the good shots to slow down your opponent without leaving yourself in position to be countered. And as much as I loved Nunez sitting down on these punches and trying to be more offensive, he is operating in Sosa's real estate. He's allowing Sosa to fight his fight against him.
Yeah, that jab, it's not as active as it was at the beginning. Definitely not quite as powerful and sharp. So Sosa's felt it at this point, and he's okay taking those shots to get his combinations off. And there he gets
What
back to
an
that jab.
interesting fight to score, guys. You have Nunez with a huge lead in jabs, Sosa with a huge lead in power punches, Nunez outlanding Sosa. Of course, #1 on the judging criteria, clean punches. And to me, the clean shots belong to Luis Nunez.
Definitely the heavier shots with that left hand. But then some judges also like this come forward style.
Yes.
Because Sosa is doing what he wants to do. He's the one walking forward at most times in this fight.
And the punch landed numbers has been close enough where you wonder if these close rounds could swing in the direction of Sosa.
That's why they got 3 of them.
For sure.
Nice lead left hook upstairs, and again, Nunez takes the steam off the shot by Sosa, but Sosa remaining determined, dogged determination here in the 9th.
See right there, it's 1 shot at a time from Nunez. He threw those good jabs, got him off. Once again, a good left hook. But I like what he's doing, Nunez. Powerful, but I would like to see a little bit more combinations.
And again, as always the case, watching tape with Abner Mares, more output from Nunez would be nice. You blind him with your jab, the right hand is there, Brian.
For sure, you would think so. There's some good, there's some bad you take from this performance so far, but it's still up in the air, and Nunez is going to have to continue to work hard to try to close this show against the hard-charging Sosa.
Yeah, Sosa's definitely making Nunez fight here, too.
And again, good intentions by Sosa, throwing the combinations, immediately angling out, pivoting out. The jab remains a weapon for Nunez. Under 30 seconds left in the 9th.
Beautiful combination there from Nunez.
And there's that counter right hand.
And Nunez with a little trash talking.
I think he's entering the flow state, Mo.
Hey, I wish I could mention or remember how to say the guy's name who brought us the flow state.
Yes, he...
One round. This is the last round. Come on. Hands up. Hands up. Body and finish upstairs. Give him water. Give him water. Body and finish upstairs. You understand? Listen, these judges are not going to help us.
We talked about the jab of Nunez all night long as we look back on round 9. Triple jab to get the attention of Sosa. Sosa's been game, always looking to counter. The more Nunez commits to the best shots in his arsenal, the more success he's having.
Triple jab. I want to say congratulations to Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, and multiple-time light heavyweight champion and a conqueror of Roy Jones Jr., Antonio Tarver, and my fellow Canadian Russ Amber, all inductees into the 2026 International Boxing Hall of Fame. This is now the 10th and final round 9. Sorry, guys. No, it is round 10. Thank you. I knew I was right. So 10th and final round, and again, any adjustments you would like to see either fighter make to really impress the judges?
I'd certainly like to see Nunez put a stamp on the final round here and on this fight like he did down the stretch there in round 9 with the big combinations. You know Sosa's going for it. He's got nothing to lose here. It's a competitive fight. Is he close enough on the scorecards? We're not sure, but it's certainly up to Nunez to tame him and exit here with a bang.
And Sosa has a round 10 knockout win. In fact, his last knockout came in the 10th round against Jazza Dickens back in 2022. He'll be looking to try to close the show here against a man who has never been down as a pro, who has never been defeated in Luis Nunez.
Yeah, now we'll see if Nunez does have that, because Sosa has been really digging that body down there. If he could find enough in these last couple minutes here to pour it on Sosa. But once again, Sosa keeps digging down to that body and sucking kind of some of that wind out.
Well, both of these fighters share the same promoter in Samson Lukowitz. And funny enough, Nunez said it's going to be a sad day for Sosa after he loses tonight, that he's going to be let go and forgotten. I have to disagree. I want to see more of Sosa, win or lose, after this performance.
There's that inside work right there, and the referee let him fight out of it. And see, Nunez, when he got out of there, when he's at this distance right here, he could use that jab, step back, land that right hand. But Sosa continues to try and walk forward, get in close, and finish that combo with that left hook downstairs.
Final 50 seconds of the fight. Sosa continues to march forward, but not really landing flush. Nunez missing with the left hook. And there's the defense of Nunez on display, but where's the counter right?
Yeah, it's not coming.
And I think Sosa knows that. He doesn't need any respect for that right hand because it's not been there tonight.
Few and far between, it has been there. He just tried it right there, but I think he is worried about exchanging and trading that right hand, especially when Sosa comes over the top with it.
Nice jab. That's been his #1 weapon. Luis Nunez. Textbook jab. Hector Sosa. Pressure attack. It goes to the 3 judges seated at ringside. Will Luis Nunez improve to 22-0, or does Hector Sosa pull off the upset, improve to 19-3? You look at the CompuBox numbers, and I know we will be looking at them later, and I'll save it for that, but I mean, they're all over. As we go to the highlight package of this fight, Hector Sosa was the busier, Luis Nunez more accurate, and that jab was everything.
Yeah, it was all the left hand tonight for Nunez, whether it was the jab, whether it was packaging those hooks together or slipping those left hands around the high guard of Sosa. He landed the better shots. Now, you did see Team Sosa celebrate like they won the fight, but it's going to be up to those 3 judges at ringside, as Sosa did have moments, particularly the body there as he mixes in the combination ending with an uppercut. A very competitive fight over 10 rounds, but if Nunez is going to catapult to the title level with this fight, I believe he's done enough, but my score doesn't count. We got to wait and see.
Yeah, it's all going to be on what you like. Do you like that clean, effective punching, or do you like the fighter that's coming forward and really trying to outwork that opponent, throwing a tons punches and making?
What's #1 again on the judging criteria, guys? What's #1 again?
Clean and effective punching.
Thank you. Good show of sportsmanship after going 10 hard rounds. And now let's go inside the ring for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we go to the scorecards. Here are your score totals. Judge Jesse Reyes scores the contest 98-92. Jose Torres 97-93. And Ignacio Robles 96-94. All for your winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated, Luis "The Twist" Nunez.
Luis Nunez improves to 22-0. Hard-fought win over the relentless Hector Sosa. And, well, here's some information you'll want to know about tonight's pay-per-view.
Isak Pitbull Cruz. Ferocious, fierce, all bite. Lamont the Reaper Roach. Patient, precise, deadly. This isn't a battle, it's a war. Plus, warriors collide as Lara faces Gonzalez in a battle for the belt. Pitbull versus Roach, tonight live on PBC Pay-Per-View on Prime Video.
Phenomenal pay-per-view fight card coming your way, and make sure you buy it right now. And you can do it. All you've got to do is scan that QR code you see right there, bottom right of your screen, with your phone or any mobile tablet as well. And in fact, on that pay-per-view card, you are going to see some top fighters, especially in the middleweight division. this young man, Jesus Ramos. You know, he had been campaigning at 154, but now at 160, he would love to fight for the world title, but he's got to fight this man, Shane Mosley Jr., the son of the Hall of Famer, and boy, has Mosley really turned things around in his career. Of course, he's coming off that win over Daniel Jacobs. That will be the first fight you'll see on the night on the pay-per-view card. As you look at the entire fight card coming your way, filled with champions, former champions, world title fights, high-stake bouts. Of course, one of them, a middleweight unification bout until undefeated unified champion Genebek Alum Hanala tested positive for a banned substance this week. He had to pull out of that fight, and that means Johan Gonzalez gets the opportunity to fight this man, the middleweight champion, Landy Lara, will be defending his title. Let me tell you something, folks, Lara's 42, but he's on a 4-fight knockout streak. This guy, he's not that Cuban boxer you remember moving around, sticking and moving. He sits in the pocket, and he's got a strong left hand, and he will be defending his title against Johan Gonzalez. Back here with Joe Goosen, and, you know, that fight is puzzling for the simple fact that, you know, he had Genebek as a guy who 10 years younger than Landy Lara, all of a sudden comes up positive for a banned substance. It's puzzling when you think about it. You're like, you're a knockout artist, you're fighting a 42-year-old guy, and yet he comes up positive.
Yeah, look, it's puzzling, and it's almost confounding to try to even figure it out, to blow such an opportunity. But, you know, whatever happened, I don't know the details of it, I just know what the test was. So, you know, at this point, Lara's got to have a new opponent. And that's what we got here. As I call him, the Benjamin Buttons of boxing. You know, he just seems to be ageless. He's incredible, but he takes very good care of himself. And he's a clever Cuban southpaw. And a great guy to boot.
You know, it's interesting because he's 42, folks, and he seems like a fine wine. He's only getting better. And there's Landy Lara, not only the oldest Cuban world boxing champion in boxing history, he's the oldest middleweight champion ever, and slowly climbing the list of oldest champions of all time. Only these 3 men there have been older. I'm talking about Bernard Hopkins, you see there, Archie Moore, and Big George Foreman. And so now, you're Johan Gonzalez. Look, you got a lottery ticket. You've been in shape. Now you get an opportunity to fight for the title. Say whatever you think about Johan Gonzalez. Out of his 36 fights, 34 of those wins have come by knockout.
It's hard to shadow box and hurt someone. Look, this Gonzalez can punch. He's got 34 knockouts, like you said. Is he the smoothest, sweetest boxer? No, but he is a brawler. He'll get inside, he'll muscle you, he'll try to work you. But the thing is, you don't want to get clipped by this guy. He's got very heavy hands, and, you know, Lara's got to be careful. He's got to box him at first, feel him out, and then figure him out, and then do what he does best.
We will
knock him out.
Yeah, we will see that fight on the pay-per-view. Hey, look, there's the Hall of Famer, Shane Mosley.
Oh,
of course, he trains his son, Shane Mosley Jr. He will be facing Jesus Ramos on the pay-per-view card. Time now for our next fight here on Prime Video. Back tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Brian. Isak Lucero undefeated at 17-0 with 13 KOs. A career-best 6-fight knockout streak, taking on Roberto Valenzuela, who's won 5 consecutive bouts, all by stoppage. So, who wants a KO for Christmas? We might get one in this matchup scheduled for 10 rounds as Valenzuela looks to utilize his physical advantages, but he is the underdog tonight. Let's go to ring announcer Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Alamo City, the PBC on Prime Video prelims continue. 10 rounds in the super welterweight division. Your 3 judges scoring this contest at ringside will be Wilfredo Esperon, Doug Robinson, and Chris Tellez. And when the bell sounds, the referee in charge is Mark Nelson. Introducing first, fighting to my right out of the red corner. He comes in wearing the black and the platinum, weighing in officially at already 154 pounds. His outstanding record consists of 31 wins, 29 of those coming by way of knockout against 5 defeats. Joining us from Agua Prieta, Sonora, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, aquí está. Here is Roberto El Viejo Valenzuela Jr. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. He comes in adorned in the colors of Mexico. Official weight, 153 pounds. He enters tonight's matchup undefeated, 17 wins, 13 of those coming by way of knockout. Desde La Paz, Baja California Sur, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undefeated Isaac Puro Mexico Lucero. And your referee in charge here to give instructions once again is Mark Nelson.
Gentlemen, as discussed earlier, any punches from here down are low. Anything from here down are low. You had my instructions. Obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. Good luck.
Lucero under Bob Santos has transformed raw aggression into refined violence, while his opponent, Valenzuela, second-generation fighter, the classic Mexican power puncher, experienced, hard-nosed, and carrying knockout juice with 29 stoppages. It's round one scheduled for 10.
Excuse me, Mauro, buckle up, because both fighters said coming in, this will be a war, with Lucero saying it'll actually be the best kind of war, an all-out Mexican war. Here we go.
Yeah, Lucero said he wants to go in there and absolutely hurt Valenzuela. Now, Valenzuela said he's going to try and stay on the outside. We'll see how long that sticks, because like we said about Sosa on that last one, he wants to fight.
Valenzuela fighting his 7th undefeated foe. Brings the experience.
Brings the size, towering
brings the
over
size,
Lucero.
brings the reach and height advantage, but Lucero, at the age of 26, compact, composed, high guard, but that jab getting through there for Valenzuela early.
Yeah, and Lucero has a really, really strong right hand. It's almost a club for a right hand, and he says he likes going against taller opponents because he likes to loop it and really come over the top with it.
Yeah, his power isn't just one punch, it's the onslaught. He's patient, precise, punishing. He's got youth, pressure, and purpose. He's a storm that never stops coming, and there's that lead right hand, curls around the guard of Valenzuela, but Valenzuela fought back. Lucero going to the body now against the ropes.
Yeah, Lucero is a patient fighter until he doesn't feel the need to be. In fact, according to CompuBox, Lucero attempts 30 more punches per round than the super middleweight average and lands 22 more power punches per round. This is a busy, heavy puncher.
Yeah, and this is where Lucero likes to be on the inside. He uses his shoulders really well in there and will kind of get those angles, pin you.
Good jab by Valenzuela, though, snapped Lucero's head back, but Lucero walks him down, goes to the body with the right hand upstairs, the jab to the face of Valenzuela as a minute remains here in the first frame. No feeling out process at 154, down goes Valenzuela, a clubbing right hand. I think Valenzuela making the case that he was pushed down. Nevertheless, that's the 5th time that Valenzuela's hit the deck like a card dealer. 40 seconds left here in round one. Lucero loves to close the show early. He is searching for his 6th first round finish. 30 seconds left.
Yeah, no, it's that clubbing right hand that he likes going around that guard of Valenzuela and catching him up top, and it caught him right on that side of the head and put him down. These first rounds are always so dangerous as well.
So Isaac Lucero with the first knockdown of the fight here in round UNO.
Let's take a look at that knockdown in round one from Lucero. You see the right hand hooking around the guard. Looks to possibly be on the side toward the back of the head. That could be what Valenzuela was protesting there above the ear. Still, it's counted as a knockdown. Referee Mark Nelson all over it. An early strike from Lucero in a fight that he said will be an all-out war.
Jab and body shots, body, jab and body. We're gonna catch him, we're gonna catch him.
Valenzuela's dad is a retired former super middleweight. He retired in 2021 at the age of 48. He and his sons actually appeared on the same card. Unfortunately, all three were beaten, but now he's the chief second for his son. Valenzuela coming out aggressive here to begin round two, but Lucero, again, just very calm, cool, collected on the inside, going to the body, just missing that sweeping right from Valenzuela. And I know phone booths don't really exist anymore, but this one's as, well, they're fighting inside a New York closet space here.
Valenzuela fired up to get that point back he lost in round one there. 10-8 for Lucero to start. I like the aggressiveness in the early body attack.
Yeah, Lucero, or Valenzuela, I should say, is starting to press forward a little bit more. I think this is the fight we probably thought he was going to do. He's not really an outside fighter. This is where he wants to be. And he's doing some good work in here as well. There's a right hand from himself for the top.
Going into this fight, we said that Valenzuela needed to start fast, land something heavy, test Lucero's chin, and yet he was the first one to get knocked down in the first. But if he's going to win, this is how he's going to do it. Impose that size. And there's another chopping right hand that lands for Valenzuela. Another right hand, left uppercut, left hooks land for Valenzuela. But Lucero absorbing them very well.
Oh, this thing is heating up here in round two. Back comes Lucero with the right hand.
And the jab, and now the combinations from Lucero.
Yeah, Valenzuela's finding an opening for that uppercut through the guard of Lucero, and he's really snapping his head back with it.
Terrific two-way action here in the second round of this 154-pound battle.
As advertised.
Valenzuela, battle-tested veteran. Lucero, the young star on the rise. And both of them putting on a show in San Antonio.
Lucero took those power shots from Valenzuela well as he continues to battle back.
But he's still getting hit. He's on the ropes, uppercut on the inside by Valenzuela. Lucero tries to get that distance, that mid-range. Now they clinch. But a good round for Valenzuela after being knocked down in the first.
Yeah, he made that adjustment. He's working on the inside now and doing a really nice job with those uppercuts. Lucero's trying to sneak him in as well. He's going to have to tighten those elbows, Lucero is, and prevent those from coming up there. Really get those elbows in tight, because that's where Valenzuela's sneaking those uppercuts.
Tremendous bounce-back round for Roberto Valenzuela Jr.
And he's finding the success on the inside despite having that height and reach length. He's giving it up to fight him where he's more comfortable.
And the output has been increased in this second round. Valenzuela's thrown 72 punches compared to 61 for Lucero. Lucero is now connected on 24 punches compared to 23 for Valenzuela. Great stuff in the second round.
That's a block behind the head.
Yeah, and that was a great round from Valenzuela, a bounce-back round, and you'll see he's trying that overhand right, but the uppercuts are the story from him right now. There's a lead left uppercut coming through the guard, and then he comes back with another left uppercut. You got to get those elbows in tight for Lucero. He's going around the guard and then finding that opening. That left uppercut has landed 3 times, and then he finishes with the right uppercut, then left hook.
Duro aquí makes it más fácil. Increíble. Hey, veniendo pegadito, pero es aquí, pero es aquí. ¿Cómo? Okay.
Guys, it was here in San Antonio that Gervonta Davis landed a left uppercut on the chin of 4-division champion Leo Santa Cruz. Halloween night 2020 was the knockout of the year.
And sent a great fighter in Leo Santa Cruz to retirement. An incredible shot just down the road at the Alamo Dome.
round number 3 scheduled for 10, and immediately they are nose to nose, toe to toe. It's an inside trench warfare here between Valenzuela and Lucero. And these fans already getting their money's worth with this one.
Yeah, really fighting for that positioning right here. Neither one of them wants to take a step back, and that's what's making this fight so great so far. They're trading off. And Valenzuela pushing forward again.
Well, Lucero at 26, 17-0 with 13 knockouts, needs to continue to be tested, needs to get experience. Well, he's being tested now, and we'll see if he has the answers against Valenzuela. He did score the knockdown in the first round, but I gotta say, Valenzuela's been on the offense ever since.
He really has. It was that knockdown that he argued, thought it was questionable, thought the punch Lucero landed was toward the back of the head. That has angered Valenzuela here as Lucero tees off on the inside.
Lining up Valenzuela on the ropes.
Yeah, Lucero switched to southpaw, and he's trying to kind of take away some of those shots and give Valenzuela a different look here, and he's finding some success with it.
Yes, he has. There's another chopping right hand by Valenzuela, right hand by Lucero. Lucero goes downstairs, 2 right uppercuts scored for Valenzuela.
Justin, you call that southpaw. I call that squaring up and letting go as they brawl here.
Yes, he is. It's that shoulder to shoulder on the inside. Once you're that close, it really doesn't matter.
It's the beauty and brutality of boxing on display here. We mentioned how these two matched up. And Valenzuela, yes, he's lost 5 times, but he is coming in tonight not to be a stepping stone. He looks to take 1 step forward in a jam-packed 154-pound division where Lucero is, many think he's a future champion.
No question about it. Lucero had the big buzz coming into this fight. It's Valenzuela, though, who is going to make him earn it with every punch. As you can see, some blood forming from the mouth on the lip area of Lucero.
Yeah, I mean, Valenzuela's really found a home for those uppercuts, but what switching to southpaw does for Lucero, puts that right hand just a touch closer, and you see him looking for that hook.
There's a left hook by Lucero, goes downstairs to the body again. They are standing right in front of each other, squared up, wanting to see who can take each other's leather.
This is so fun to watch. Back and forth action.
And it's so close statistically. 20 seconds left in the third. Counter right lands for Valenzuela. There's a left hand down the middle by Lucero against southpaw. As Brian said, a squared up southpaw. Unbelievable action. And we're just headed to round number 4.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. Really good fight. More jab. Breathe in. Side step. Move that head, move that head. Really good fight. More jab, more jab. Right hand. I want to see the inside punches too. Listen, look, breathe in.
You see Lucero in that squared up southpaw stance, and that makes that right hand just that closer for that right hook over the left hand of Valenzuela. And then Valenzuela said he was going to try and keep that left hand up, but here we go with Valenzuela answers right back. That short, tight right hand sneaks it in on Lucero. Just ebb and flow action between the two of them.
4th round begins here in San Antonio, Texas. You're watching PBC Prelims on Prime Video. And these two were throwing like a video game in the last round. 83 punches for Lucero, 79 for Valenzuela. Lucero landed him 34-24. It's just toe-to-toe action. Now he has Valenzuela corralled in the corner. They're both digging to the body. And chopping right hand by Lucero lands on the jaw.
And Lucero
what a right hand by Valenzuela.
Lucero made an adjustment in the final 30 seconds of the last round. He started going to the body more consistently, and he's bringing that into this round to try to slow Valenzuela down.
Yeah, that's what could happen sometimes when you catch him to the head early. It just makes you a bit of a headhunter, but Bob Santos in the corner giving him instructions, and he's also doing a better job taking away that uppercut from Valenzuela.
Should someone tell them defense is allowed? 2 minutes left here in the 4th. A blistering start to this scrap.
Crazy enough for Valenzuela, who's the taller and longer fighter. He's fought as high as 165, as low as welterweight in the last 18 months alone. But he said 154 is the weight he feels the strongest at, and he looks like a monster there inside as Lucero trades punches.
Terrific stuff on the inside. Both unwilling to give ground. Uppercuts, hooks. And there is some defense even in the inside. Of course, the all-time Mexican great Julio Cesar Chavez loved to be inside the pocket, but those subtle shifts, there was defense there.
Indeed. Senior would also eat a few to land a big one if he needed to.
It's the Mexican way.
See Lucero there, he kind of shifted his weight around, was able to sneak a left hook down to the body, and he's doing a better job as well, landing some uppercuts to the body himself, Lucero.
Short punches being landed. Lucero doing a good job of avoiding some of Valenzuela's shots. They're squared up.
There's some
under a minute left here in the fourth, scheduled for 10.
Precision from Lucero inside as they trade on the inside with these short hooks. Good timing, good accuracy.
I would say Valenzuela did the same thing in parts of the round. Good punch placement, good punch selection. Referee Mark Nelson admonishing Valenzuela. There's a nice body shot, uppercut, right hand by Lucero. Lucero opening up now on Valenzuela, but Valenzuela fires back.
You see Lucero's really kind of looking for that left hook to the body when he shifts his weight around. He's trying to get that angle on the inside.
Couple of good lead right hands by Lucero.
No rest for the weary here. High output, high connects for both fighters.
High octane. Oh, nice jab from Valenzuela.
Stop at the bell.
Sit down, sit down.
The action continued back in round 4 as Valenzuela continues to stand up to Lucero there, coming across with the sweeping right hand. But every time one fighter answers, it seems his opponent comes right back as Lucero sneaks in that right uppercut, eats a body shot, but boy, are they going back and forth.
Yeah, no breathe.
Catch some air, breathe, breathe. Recover, come on.
Fight clean,
He's not doing anything, come on. You're gonna beat him. You're gonna beat him, just relax. All right, pressure, pressure. Breathe and pressure, breathe and pressure. He's already tired. It's too much pressure. Be intelligent, come on.
Roberto Valenzuela Sr. fought 161 times as a pro. You talk about old school mentality with 56 knockout wins. Now, I know all the fans were enjoying this two-way action. We're enjoying this two-way action, but there's a tail of the tape for a reason, Justin. Would it behoove Valenzuela to try to use the jab more and fight from distance?
No, because
that's just not his makeup.
It's not his style. That's not the way he's going to fight. He wants to be right here. He does well on the inside, but it's just not his style to be on the back foot.
Do you think, Ryan, that it would behoove him to make that adjustment?
Oh, without question, if he could pull it off here, but we've heard what both fighters said coming in. This is the fight they want, the style they want. They want to find out mano y mano, who's more macho.
God bless them for it. Round 5 of 10 again.
Wow.
This is a recording. Toe-to-toe, blow for blow. Valenzuela went down in the first round, but has bounced back admirably. Lucero having his moments, going to the body and upstairs with the hook. Valenzuela's had success with the uppercuts.
Look at these two continue to fight in the phone booth here, and this is what makes Lucero such a bright prospect. He's skilled, but he loves to entertain, loves to bring it. I think we're going to see something just like that in the main event, by the way, with Pitbull Cruz.
Yeah.
These two are as close as conjoined twins with just over a minute and a half left here in the 5th. The first half has been fantastic. What's the second half going to have in store for us?
And there you see Lucero, he's starting to shift his feet a little bit on the inside, trying to find that angle and that opening for either that right hand up top or sneaking that left hook.
He just snuck in a beautiful right hand. Another right hand lands for Lucero. So Lucero's fighting from mid-range seems to be at its best here, providing a little airspace, and Lucero now is landing cleanly.
And that's the same punch Lucero landed in round 1 that produced the knockout, that short, clubbing right hand.
Yeah, and when Valenzuela takes that step back, that's when Lucero knows it, and that's when he's able to get extension on that right hand and follow him with it.
Lucero with a huge edge, and the power shots landed, but just ate that jab from Valenzuela. Valenzuela on the ropes, doesn't want to be stapled there by a guy like Lucero. Could be trying to set a trap for that right hand.
For as close and competitive as this remains, I feel like this round Lucero has done a lot to really hold an advantage, not just in his output, but in those shots that he's landing.
Yes, like that one.
He's found his distance. He's not really shoulder to shoulder. He's taking that half step and turning him like he did right there and landing that left hook.
And yet Valenzuela Jr.'s not going anywhere. Another right hand lands. Oh, sweeping right hand behind the guard by Valenzuela. Final 10 seconds of what has been another thrilling 3 minutes. We've reached the midway point of this 10-round confrontation at 154 pounds.
No tocando the glove, no. Caliente. No tocando the glove.
Don't touch the glove, all right? Don't touch the glove. We're not friends here. Listen, move your head side to side, okay? Don't stay in the front, and don't pull back. No pulling back, okay? Go down, side, side, no pulling back.
And you see these two just shoulder to shoulder, and there's Valenzuela did a little bit of shoe shining in there, really tight combination, how short and tight that left hook was, but then Lucero, once again, that clubbing right hand, comes around, sneaks that one inside, then came around over the top of that one, and there you see him slipping that jab and coming right over the top of it with that overhand right again.
So Lucero would love to keep it at mid-range instead of that trench warfare toe-to-toe. He's been having a lot of success as we go to round number 6.
And you asked if Valenzuela could use that jab. As you saw Lucero on that replay, he slipped, it came right over the top, so he wants to be close, Valenzuela.
Big right hand there from Lucero, split the guard, whilst Valenzuela was backed up to the ropes.
You know, we talk about the edge and experience in terms of fights that Valenzuela's had, but it's the level of competition. His last 2 losses came to future 154-pound title holders Bakram Murtazaliev and Xander Zayas. So learning experiences, and now Lucero looking to teach him a painful lesson. Right uppercut, left hook, right hand. Lucero beginning to find his rhythm, and he's opening up on Valenzuela. But then Valenzuela comes back with a jab.
Lucero started to impose as well here, about 3 right hands right in a row, then just shot it to the body. He's pushing Valenzuela back.
Valenzuela was stopped by Zayas in the 5th round. And Lucero looking to close the show as he backs up Valenzuela, snaps the jab, misses with the right.
Yeah,
Valenzuela leaning forward, susceptible to the uppercut.
2 of Valenzuela's 5 losses have come against current title holders in Xander Zayas and Murtazaliev, and he said both fighters asked him to join his camp afterwards to spar because they loved the work that he gave them.
Is there an echo in here? A minute and a half left in the 6th. Right uppercut by, oh, nice left hook by Valenzuela, but he's not hurting Lucero with these punches.
No, he's got those quick short shots, and this is where Lucero, when he is real tight, that's actually when Valenzuela's doing his best work. It's right here when he takes that half step back when Lucero's finding his success.
A right uppercut for Lucero that lands on the inside, another uppercut lands, but he's backed up to the ropes. Valenzuela continues to lean in, oh, but gets that chopping right hand.
Valenzuela will not be held down. As much success Lucero has had, he is firing back in the trenches.
Valenzuela may be the B-side, but B is for busy because he is giving Lucero a good fight here. Lucero is obviously technically superior, has the more eye-catching shots, but Valenzuela is making it an entertaining fight, despite being knocked down in the 1st round.
The counter combination there for Valenzuela.
Oh, double left uppercuts by Valenzuela.
Yeah, just what a fight and effort these 2 are putting in right now. And you see Valenzuela feels the best when he's right on Lucero.
I got 4 words for you. Are you not entertained?
Well, Mo, the answer from me is yes, I am entertained. Let's look back at round 6. Valenzuela took some shots early, but a 3-punch counter combination rung the bell there of Lucero. Lead left uppercut coming right back with a second one to catch him upstairs. Back and forth action throughout.
Push him back, push him back. Push him with the shoulder. Okay. He doesn't like it when you push him back. Come on. Throw the jab, throw the jab. You go in there, you let your hands go. You work, you work. Do you not have strength? Come on.
Bell in round number 7. Lucero leading in all statistical categories, but Valenzuela's not making it easy. Nice counter left hook, chopping left hook by Valenzuela. Lucero high guard on the front foot.
Now you heard Valenzuela's corner telling Valenzuela to push Lucero back, but he starts with this round off on the back foot.
Exactly. Angling away from the ropes, 1-2 combination lands for Valenzuela. Lucero walking him down. Intelligent pressure, Campbell.
Yeah, that's the distance we wanted from Valenzuela there as Lucero comes back with a combination.
Great punch placement, great punch resistance. Another couple of right uppercuts grazing the jaw there as that high guard help Valenzuela. Short left hook to the head by Valenzuela. Another left hook lands for Valenzuela.
Once Valenzuela doubles up that left hand, that's becoming a problem for Lucero.
Yeah, it's a sneaky little combination he's throwing, and it's catching Lucero off guard.
Lucero landing more power punches. On the front foot, nice combination by Lucero. Valenzuela comes back with his own.
Yeah, it's interesting. Valenzuela's got the quicker hand speed, and he's throwing those flashy combinations on the inside, and then the thudding shots are coming from Lucero.
Lucero doesn't seem too bothered by the power of Valenzuela.
Not at all. Walking him down.
Now he's dealt with the style his whole life as well, both these guys pretty much. A big right hand over the top from Lucero.
There's a jab splitting the guard of Valenzuela, backing him up. There's a counter right by Valenzuela, now toe-to-toe again, and this is where Valenzuela had some success, as has Lucero, but we seem to agree that this is the range for Lucero to really have success against Valenzuela. Lands the right through the guard, goes downstairs, counter right upstairs by Valenzuela. Under a minute left to the 7th.
They left their defense in the corners, and we couldn't be happier about it. Look at this action.
Left hook lands for Valenzuela, lead left hook.
Yeah,
but he's unable to really hurt Lucero with these shots.
No, and plus this Valenzuela doesn't have any knockouts past round 7, but he's doing a nice job of catching Lucero when he takes that step back well after a combo.
Good body shot there from Lucero. When he commits to those right crosses downstairs, they're landing with a boom.
Stop, break, break.
1-2 lands for Lucero. Feints, backs Valenzuela to the ropes. And we are headed to round number 8.
Oof.
Nice right hand by Lucero. Another right by Lucero.
Wow. Yeah, what a finish there from Lucero with those 4 right hands, but here is Valenzuela showing that hand speed on the inside. 4-shot combo, finishes it off with the left hook, and then it's gonna finish it off with a, oh no, here's Lucero, that right hand we talk about, going straight through the guard and turning his head from that left hook as well. And then another short, tight right hand, he got his whole body into it, and Lucero's just got that thudding power.
Round 8. We're gonna win, come on.
Round number 8, Isak Lucero, inspired by past greats Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Roberto Duran, Juan Manuel Marquez, and Canelo Alvarez. In fact, he was christened Baby Canelo by the training when he was training with 3-division champ Devin Haney. If he has half of the career of a Canelo, he's going to be doing very well for himself, and it's off to a great start. He's undefeated, 17-0 with 13 KOs, and already scored a knockdown. Well, round one was when the knockdown came.
Good combination exchanges from both there. A 4-punch combination from Lucero. But I do call back to the end of the last round, Justin. It was about 3 or 4 consecutive right hands that Valenzuela's just not picking up from Lucero.
Yeah, I think Lucero might have hurt Valenzuela towards the end of that round because Valenzuela had nothing to answer to him.
Right uppercut lands on the inside for Valenzuela. They're now head-to-head. Body shot by Lucero, the left hook to the liver.
And we'll really get to see the conditioning in these last 3 rounds.
And he's sitting down on these punches. Nice curling right hand.
Oh, he's
Warren pushing the head down. Referee warning him and may penalize him. Oh, another hard warning for pulling the head down.
Yeah, he lined up that right hand and it was just wide open for him. I don't think he can help it.
Right uppercut on the inside, jacked the jaw of Valenzuela.
Lucero does such a nice job punching around the high guard of Valenzuela and still landing flush.
Yeah,
continues to walk Valenzuela down and landing punches.
Look, fighters say a lot of things. Every training camp is the best one ever. But sometimes you have to listen to them. Lucero said this will be a performance people will remember and that he will steal the show tonight. I think up to this point, both of these fighters
It takes 2 to tango. Yes, don't discount Roberto Valenzuela Jr. A minute left, comes in as the underdog, an opportunity to score a major upset and put himself in play in a division that is as stacked as it gets. 154. In fact, Lucero, oh wow, he's a jab from Valenzuela. But Lucero very comfortable, continues to walk down Valenzuela.
Yeah, I think Lucero feels that Valenzuela is kind of fading and he wants to kind of get ready to close the show here.
Under 30 seconds left in the 8th. Nice left hand upstairs lands for Valenzuela.
See some blood flowing from the nose here of Valenzuela.
It's the holiday season. 10 seconds left in the round. Lucero looking to finish it now. Clubbing hand, Valenzuela backing up. The time will run out, but a fantastic
that was
sequence. Referee stopped the fight. The referee stopped the fight. Valenzuela's apoplectic, but Isaac Lucero just recorded his 14th knockout and his career best 7th straight finish. The 154-pound champion better say hello to the beast, Isaac Lucero, who, with apologies to Marshawn Lynch, was in beast mode tonight.
Lucero's got pop, he's got charisma, he's got moxie, and boy, did he deliver the boom while his opponent was hurt. Seconds to go in the round, but the fight is over.
Now, I thought the bell rang, and then the referee stopped the fight, but let's take a look here, Justin.
Well, we'll see. Valenzuela was fading, and Lucero smelled that blood in the water, non-stop onslaught, and it was just those right hands. When the head snaps back of Valenzuela, that's when the ref came in. It might have been after the bell, but the ref has to protect the fighter, and he was defenseless in that moment.
Well said.
And then you see those right hands coming in, that big right hand, and when that head snaps back, the ref sees that, and he has to jump in. And that, what a finisher Lucero is.
Great instincts.
Yeah. He smelled the blood in the water, felt Valenzuela fading, and poured it on.
Proving that he can carry his power into the later rounds. Isaac Lucero closes the show in style. Let's make it official with the ring announcer, Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 2 minutes, 59 seconds of the 8th round. The referee in charge, Mark Nelson, wades off the bout for your winner by technical knockout and still undefeated, Isaac Puro Mexico Lucero.
Making 18-0 under Bob Santos. points and a career best 7th consecutive knockout. What? Oh, by the way, guess what's coming up at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific? You'll want to watch this.
Isak Pitbull Cruz, ferocious, fierce, all bite. Lamont the Reaper Roach, patient, precise, deadly. This isn't a battle, it's a war. This is war. Plus, warriors collide as Lara faces Gonzalez in a battle for the belt. This is war. Pitbull versus Roach, tonight live on PBC Pay-Per-View on Prime Video.
Listen, you want to buy that pay-per-view card? Hey, look! Errol Spence Jr. in the house tonight. Of course, he's the promoter for Frank Martin. He is the featured bout here on the prelims on Prime Video. He'll be watching his fighter, the return of the Ghost, Frank Martin, coming up here next. Don't forget, you can buy the pay-per-view. All you got to do is just scan that QR code you see there at the bottom of your screen. By the way, one of the fights that you'll see on the pay-per-view, the co-main, Stephen Fulton Jr., who's the WBC Featherweight champion, coming up at 130 to challenge O'Shaquie Foster for his title. Well, you know what? Stephen Fulton Jr. came in 2 pounds over. 2 pounds over, didn't make the weight. And so now this fight will be fought at 135 pounds for an interim belt by the WBC. Stephen Fulton Jr. entering the building now. Again, fighting at 130, but came in 2 pounds over. So now the fight will be fought at 135 for an interim belt. O'Shaquie Foster, Stephen Fulton Jr., the co-main on pay-per-view. Time for our feature bout here on Prime Video. Back ringside, here's Morrow.
And we are set for the prelims feature attraction, the debut at 140 for Frank Martin against the former 2-division titleist Rances Barthelemy. They both came in under 140, and Barthelemy has the height and the wingspan advantage, but Frank Martin looking to bounce back from his first career loss against Gervonta Tank Davis. And there is the Cuban, Barthelemy, coming off a career-long 19-month layoff and a loss to Jose Carlos Ramirez, where Frank Martin now makes his way into the ring for the first time as a 140-pounder. He's also ending a career-long year-and-a-half layoff. At 140, he told us he's going to be stronger, faster, and basically back where he was supposed to be. Hey, he gave Tank Davis all he could handle before Tank does what Tank does.
And he earned that opportunity, and he showed out until Tank turned the tables and made that adjustment. It has been a long layoff. Frank said, look, I would have come back 4 or 5 months later if I could, but this is his close-up opportunity to remind us of who he still is.
So, the PBC prelims on Prime Video culminate with this matchup at 140 pounds. Let's go back to ring announcer Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the action continues. This is the main event of our PBC on Prime Video prelims. 10 rounds in the super lightweight division. The 3 judges scoring this contest at ringside will be Esther Lopez, Ursula Perez, and Jose Torres. The referee in charge when the bell sounds is James Green. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He comes in wearing the light blue and pink, weighing in officially at 139 pounds. His impressive record stands at 30 wins, 15 of those coming by way of knockout against 3 losses and 1 draw. Fighting out of Havana, Cuba, he is a 2-division world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rances Barthelemy. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black and pink, weighing in officially at 139 pounds. His record near perfect, 18 wins, 12 of those coming by way of knockout against 1 defeat. Fighting out of Dallas, Texas, by way of Detroit, Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a world title challenger, Frank the Ghost Martin. And the referee in charge is James Green.
Grab his t-shirt.
Let's go, come on. Okay, gentlemen. This is gonna be good for me here. Right on the bottom. The trunk's a little high, and this is gonna be good for me here, okay? You got your instructions in the dressing room. I want you to protect yourself at all times and obey my commands at all times. Touch them up, back to your corner.
For Frank Martin, this is the first fight under the tutelage of former two-division champ James Buddy McGirt. While for Rances Barthelemy, he is trained by Clarence Bone Adams, a former super bantamweight champion. Round one begins, scheduled for 10 at 140. The southpaw Martin immediately utilizing a pivot against Barthelemy, who was a champion at 130 and 135. But has been campaigning at 140 for a while now.
Yep, and look, we saw Barthelemy, he's coming out in that righty stance. We're kind of interested in that, and you see Frank's at his best against a righty when he's able to kind of step to the outside, use that jab, and shoot that left hand to the body as he came out doing in these first few seconds.
Slick movers, calculated attackers, and defensive specialists are the common MOs of the Cuban fighter. Barthelemy is at his best when he counters intelligently from close range, although the modern Cubans, they've kind of flipped the script, showcasing a lot of power, including Landy Lara, who we see in the pay-per-view defend his middleweight title.
And I think for as much as Rances at times in his career we've wanted to see more from him in fights, as he's aging, he's had to show more. He's had to let his hands go, and I certainly think Frank Martin will make him tonight.
Martin said the changes he's made in his career will make him a more dynamic fighter to watch. He says he's going to be letting his hands go, not just 1 or 2 shots, but 4 and 5 punch combinations. He says that working with McGirt has been already beneficial as he parries the jab from the southpaw Barthelemy. So 2 southpaws, foot battle still paramount. Minute and a half left in the first.
Barthelemy was a bit dismissive, though, of Frank Martin coming in. He says he doesn't have anything that stands out to me or that I haven't seen besides youth being on his side. That's the only advantage he'll bring into the fight.
He told us it's going to be a beautiful fight. He said he was going to make it in an exciting fight. He loves to face southpaws. He says whenever he faces lefties, it's an action-packed fight from both sides. He says this is a perfect style matchup.
Yeah, and Frank Martin's having a great first opening in this round so far, doing a nice job getting that angle, turning the outside. Barthelemy's really only shot the jab so far, and Frank Martin's got that great high guard. Barthelemy's going to have to start looking to the body.
Barthelemy standing very straight up, leaving that chin out at times as Martin hits with the overhand left.
There's that straight left by Martin. Check right hook.
You see Barthelemy try to turn on that with Frank Martin there, but he's just a touch behind, especially at 39 years old.
Barthelemy on the attack. Martin utilizing his footwork. 20 seconds left here in round number 1.
And there's that right hand of the body. That's going to be a shot for Barthelemy. Romero Duran had success with that against Frank Martin as well.
Barthelemy threw more punches. Martin landed more punches. Tactical start to round 1.
Excellent, excellent. You gotta work the body, it's open, okay? Body, it's right there. Combinations, okay?
Trying to set a trap for you. So nothing's happening here and step around. Okay? Very good. But let's get the jab going, champ. Okay? Jab is short.
I'm trying to grow a Buddy McGirt beard. Gray Fox he is. And you heard from Buddy McGirt working with Frank Martin for the first time. And Martin looking to stick the jab. Barthelemy having good success with the jab in the first frame.
As you see, in addition to Bones Adams, Barthelemy has Bob Santos in his corner. I'd like to get some of that Santos paycheck. He's had a role in every fight so far tonight.
And there's Frank Martin coming up top with that loop in left hand. Look, Frank Martin hasn't wasted any time, shook off all that ring rust immediately, having a great start to this fight. And he continues to step to that outside and get that angle.
Yep.
We'll see if Barthelemy will throw that left hook to kind of catch him where he's going.
Martin pairing the jab, utilizing his footwork, coming in at an angle, turning Barthelemy, keeps turning him, that will be successful.
Yeah, he's got the feet advantage by far, way better.
Oh, especially with, you know, Martin's 30, Barthelemy's 39. Barthelemy actually was a champ at 130, 135, never lost the titles. He vacated both times to move up in weight. He's been at 140 since 2016. So very comfortable at this weight class and a comfortable start for Barthelemy.
No question about it right there. But speaking of weight, while Martin gives left hand for Martin, while he gives no excuses for the loss to Tank Davis, he did say that was the hardest weight cut of his career, and he didn't realize it until he got in the ring against Davis and really felt the effects of it. He says 140, he feels so much stronger, so coming off of that long layoff, he looks good tonight.
Yes, he does. And then you see it's interesting, this is the first time that Barthelemy has switched to that lefty stance, and he did have some success against Gary Russell, landing that left hand, but he's going to have to find the timing against Frank Martin.
Controversial stoppage there, although it was a competitive fight. Gary Russell winning by stoppage. The first stoppage loss of Barthelemy's career, but again, he ended on his feet and took umbrage with the referee's decision that night. A minute left here in the second round. Couple of southpaws going at it. Martin looking for the angle.
Looks like there's an abrasion on the cheek below the right eye of Barthelemy from that clean left hand from Martin a few moments ago.
45 seconds left in round number 2. Referee calls for the break.
And that's one thing Barthelemy knows how to do, is kind of slow down the pace of a fight, and he does it by flipping stances or kind of clinching like that right there.
Don't remind us of Barthelemy versus Robert Easter, please. I recommend it for anyone who has insomnia, and it's no disrespect to the participants, but my God, that was the worst fight I've ever called.
Or Barthelemy versus Mickey Bay. You can pick and choose there.
15 seconds remaining here in the second, and Frank Martin's offense has been muted, looking for an opening.
He's working his way in against that taller fighter there, and he's slipping under that right hand, chopping down.
Oh, he gets chopped off balance. Coming up on pay-per-view at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, O'Shaquie Foster was supposed to defend his 130-pound title against Stephen Fulton. Fulton came in 2 pounds overweight. They will instead meet at 135, and Foster already upset that Fulton would have the audacity to move up in weight. Fulton, a current 126-pound belt holder, but then to miss weight, that made Foster even angrier. And here, meanwhile, Stephen Fulton, well, he seems to be relaxing and maxing in the back, no worries. Although, again, highly unprofessional to come in 2 pounds overweight when you made the decision to move up in weight. He's a 2-division champion, was looking to become Philadelphia's first 3-division champion. That says something about a fight factory known as Philly. But Fulton tonight will be up at 135, still a 50-50 fight on paper, and one of the great fights to look forward to coming up. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, PBC on PPV. This is round 3, scheduled for 10 at 140 pounds.
Thought you were going to drop an OPP reference there.
Are you down with OPP?
Well, what colors are Barthelemy's trunks tonight? I'm blinded by the flash there.
You blinded, is he blinding you with his science, as Thomas Dolby might ask. The color is light blue and pink, I was told, but yeah, very colorful.
And there's Frank Martin. He's doing a really nice job right now of
turning,
doing his work and
pivoting,
getting out of the way and not allowing Barthelemy to counter. When Barthelemy does try that right hand, Frank Martin's already under it and out of the way.
I think I heard someone say once, make him miss, make him pay.
Yep.
Basic, fundamental task of the sweet science. Make them pay and get paid, Brian Campbell.
Indeed, indeed. Barthelemy's had some awkward moments early of catching Martin off balance, but the real power shots that have mattered have come from the Ghost here as he continues to try to figure it out.
Now going to the body, continues to turn Barthelemy. Some fancy footwork here on the part of the slick technician, Frank Martin. Continues to turn. And there's a lead left hand, popped him in the face with that left.
Yeah, when Frank's on, he could just do anything he wants in there. But Barthelemy's going to have to do that. He's going to have to throw where Frank is going and kind of meet him with those shots. And he's going to have to shoot that left hook a little bit lower, especially with Frank ducking down and spinning to the right.
And this is, unfortunately, more of a round that we've seen from Barthelemy lately, having just thrown 20 punches with just over a minute left. Has been highly inactive over the past few years. Both of them coming off losses, however, and both are prideful, and now Martin continues to utilize the footwork to initiate his attack.
And he's really starting to time Barthelemy with these clean left hands.
Under a minute left in round 3.
And Martin's a heck of an athlete. He played running back in high school in the football team. He wrestled in the state championship as a junior at 152 pounds, and he's the first cousin of NFL linebacker and former Cowboys draft pick Jalen Smith.
Yeah, he's using all that athleticism tonight, and Barthelemy at the moment cannot keep up. He's a step behind of what Frank's doing at all times so far.
1-2 from the southpaw. Martin lands. That jab was blocked by the high guard of Barthelemy. Barthelemy needs an uptick in offensive output, but Martin's movement is hindering that. Little cat and mouse game going on. 15 seconds left in the third. A great round for Frank the Ghost Martin.
Frank was frustrated, but listen, when he turns southpaw, go to your left. He's trying to bait you for that left hand.
Well, Frank Martin may be coming into this fight off a long layoff, but boy, does he look good in the new weight class. Using this footwork well to get open, landing clean shots through that high guard of Barthelemy, and consistently leading the dance against a very awkward veteran opponent.
Okay, listen, when he turns southpaw, okay, water. Hey, listen, do me a favor. When he turns southpaw, which way you going? Your left, right, because he's trying to hit you for that with that left bomb, okay? As soon as you turn southpaw, take that step over, okay? Very good. But now when you get inside, keep your right hand here so you can work inside. Okay, but be careful when you're ducking inside, because he's trying to throw uppercut. Okay, let's go. Be smart. Okay, baby. Go ahead, so I'm sorry.
Great instructions from Buddy McGirt, concise, to the point. As we begin round at number 4, Frank Martin moving up to 140 against the veteran, two-time two-division champion Rances Barthelemy.
I mentioned the layoff of Martin. The layoff of Rances is even longer here.
Both
19 months.
And hasn't looked good in those last few fights, and it's an opportunity for Frank Martin to introduce himself at 140, but he's got to make that statement.
Yep.
And against a guy like Barthelemy, it's very hard to look good against.
Very hard, because he does try and slow that pace, but what he does still have is some power in that left hand. He did rock Jose Ramirez a few times with it. And,
half of his wins have come by knockout. Barthelemy with 15 KOs, 12 of 18 for Frank Martin.
Back to your stick. There you go.
Back to the stick, on cue, Martin delivers. So the fighter and trainer on the same page, Brian.
Indeed.
First
fight together, of course. Martin, formerly under the tutelage
of Texas's own.
Yes, Texas's own Derek James, but promoted by Errol Spence and back in here in his new weight class.
It's kind of sad when a fighter loses that one of the first things they usually do is change trainers, but all due respect, Derek James, one of the best trainers, and Buddy McGirt, hey, what a fighter he was, a former two-time champion.
A Hall of Famer.
A Hall of Famer, right on.
Yep, sometimes you just need that change of scenery and kind of reset. But there you see Barthelemy kind of throwing some interesting right hands. He's just trying to touch Frank Martin with it because he doesn't know which way he's going.
He can't corral Martin. Martin continues. We're going in circles here. Barthelemy might get dizzy.
Yep.
He's unable to cut off the ring.
I'll tell you what, if I was a fighter, I'd have Joe Goosen in my corner. You can smell that guy coming in the building. Heck of a fragrance coming off of him.
These two hope to enjoy the smell of success tonight with a win. Just over a minute left in the 4th round. Yeah, you know Joe Goosen, don't you? There.
I know him halfway well.
Under a minute left in the 4th. Oh!
Yeah.
Great left-handed. Down goes Barthelemy. The 4th knockdown of his career. And the last time was against the left-handed Gary Russell. But Martin showing his power at 140, dropping Barthelemy here in the 4th.
Let's see.
Looking to close the show.
That's what I was going to say. The Ghost backs him up with big power shots.
Martin, 4 on the floor, hunting Barthelemy, not willing to let him off the hook, delivering hooks.
Yeah, Frank led him right in that shot, threw that right hook, came right behind it with the left hand, and caught Barthelemy right on the side of the head. Barthelemy's legs still look there, but he's a step behind Frank Martin at all times.
So Frank Martin breaking through in the 4th round. And there it is! Mamma mia! One hitter! Quitter! Are you kidding me? The Ghost just scared a bunch of 140-pounders with that knockout of the year candidate.
Wow.
Welcome to the junior welterweight division. Martin talked about wanting to fight the winner of tonight's main event. Boy! Woo!
And now, of course, medical attention and our best wishes and thoughts going out to Barthelemy, who was on the receiving end of one deadly left hand, Justin.
Yeah, just straight down the middle, one hitter quitter, and we hope he's okay down there.
Second time, but more emphatically getting knocked out this time, and you wonder what the future is for Rances Barthelemy. It's still on the canvas.
Yeah.
Frank Martin hoping that he's okay, but Frank Martin, I mean, you talk about wanting to make a statement in your debut in a different division, just landed his 13th knockout. The crowd here in San Antonio applauding the fact that Barthelemy is sitting up. But my God, what a punch. Let's take a look, Justin. We're gonna go back to the first knockdown that came in round 1.
And then you see it's that right hand followed right behind that left, and then Barthelemy just kind of took that break there, had to go down.
But this then, no question, here in December, last month of the year, a knockout of the year candidate.
And yep, he came right, set Rances perfectly up with that right hand, followed behind with that left right on the side of the head, turned his knuckles into it.
That was still the first one. Let's get to the end of the fight, really
this one's
matters.
right down the chute, got his whole body into it, landed it clean, got that angle, and good night. And that looks like Barthelemy sitting up on a stool right now, but what a great shot right there. You see him pull that right hand down, and then boom, straight down the shot. What a perfect angle, perfect picture, perfect left hand.
Southpaw shot from Frank the Ghost Martin. That man is scary.
you pulled that right hand down on Barthelemy, created that perfect space for it, and once again a picture perfect left hand.
Errol Spence Jr. congratulating Frank Martin. Errol Spence also trained under Derek James. It's time to make it official. What a way to close out the PBC prelims on Prime Video. Here's Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 2 minutes, 56 seconds of the 4th round. For your winner by knockout, Frank the Ghost Martin.
Martin improves to 19-1 with one of his most memorable knockouts. It's knockout number 13, and he's in the ring now. He'll talk with our Brian Campbell.
Here with a victorious Frank Martin, the return after the long layoff. How good did it feel to step in and make a statement in a new division?
Man, it felt good. You know, I feel like 140. I'm a lot more comfortable at this weight. I'm a lot stronger at the weight. I still, you know, I got my speed. You know, I felt strong tonight. You know, I felt a lot better than, you know, my prior 2 fights before this. I just felt strong, and it took me a little time to warm up and get comfortable, but, you know, I started to settle down a little bit, and that's when I seen the shot that we had been working on in the gym that possibly could have presented itself, and it did. And I took my chance with it, and it landed.
Barthelemy is a former champion in 2 divisions, an awkward fighter. How was it trying to pick up his pacing and find the timing in there?
It was at first it was a little difficult to find my jab just because he was tall and the style that he got with his shoulder. I didn't want to overcommit by throwing the jab and get caught with something, so I was playing it a little safe a little bit. And then I got to noticing like that's all he was doing was just flicking it. He wasn't really trying to cause no damage by throwing it, so I just went in.
You gave a great showing for yourself in a loss to Gervonta Tank Davis. Did you feel like people were maybe forgetting about the Ghost and tonight was a reminder?
I'll take this real quick. Absolutely, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, man, I got slept on. I took one loss, you know, it's a new era. If a fighter take a loss, it's like everybody think that it's over with. All that did was brought like more dog out of me, and it showed me who really with me. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm here, I'm back, and I'm finna cause hell to the whole division. You know, salute to the main event fighters tonight, but I would definitely be willing to take either one of them after the winner out of any one of them, or y'all can give me Richardson Hitchens. Let's get it.
Congratulations, Frank, on a huge bounce-back performance.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Let's throw it back to ringside and Mauro Ranallo.
Thank you very much, Brian. Frank Martin's first knockout since 2022, which also took place here in the Alamo City of San Antonio. He closed the show by closing the show, Brian Custer. And Kid Blast, well, he got blasted into another dimension. What a knockout, one that's going to be talked about for time immemorial. Let's go back to BC.
I'm with you, Mo. You said it right. The Ghost looks scary tonight. You know, first knockout for him in 3 years. And he's got a new trainer and Buddy McGirt. And you know, one of the things he talked to me about on my podcast, The Last Stand, he said, under Buddy McGirt, you're going to see me using my athleticism. I'm going to use angles. I'm going to throw combinations. And I'm going to use my speed and power. And we saw all of those on display tonight. 2 knockdowns in this fight, Joe Goosen. Let's take a look and review them. We'll start with the first one, and then we'll talk about the one that ended this fight.
Yeah, well, Barthelemy was being lost all night. Frank was just getting around him like this. There was no chance. He was having a hard time keeping up with the movement from Frank Martin. And, you know, it was only a matter of time. He's 39 years old, Barthelemy, and he hasn't fought in close to 2 years. And, you know, he got dropped by a little side shot there on the temple. But, you know, that's the one that was frightening. To me, that was a scary, scary shot. He went down, hit his head very hard on the canvas. Watch this. He's out right there before he goes down. Bam! Right on the... See, that scares me. I'm scared for the fighter that goes down like that. You know, so... But Frank Martin, you know, obviously looked very sharp. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I think they got to give him better opponents now that he's back in the ring. He's been out close to a couple of years himself. But that was a hard one to swallow for me. I didn't like seeing it.
What do you think about, by the way, they do have a local hospital here in San Antonio that is only 10 minutes away for any fighter that suffers any type of, they say, injury. And there's another one on a base, medical base, that is only 14 minutes away if there's a level 1 trauma. So you know that Barthelemy will be looked after.
Oh, absolutely. The commissions are great here, Nevada, California, wherever you go. They're on top of it. The bottom line is this, is that he will be checked out, and they should keep him under observation for a while. That was a devastating left hand he took, and he went down as hard as a man can go down on the canvas.
You see Frank Martin there getting a lot of adoration from the crowd. His parents are here tonight. Talk to me about Frank Martin now at 140 pounds.
Listen, I've always loved Frank Martin. I did one of his early fights years ago, and, you know, I was just amazed. I've had quite a few Southpaw world champions, and I know what a world champ looks like, and Frank Martin fits the bill. And he's just going to look. He ran into a buzzsaw that night with Tank Davis, okay? And that was his only loss, and believe me, he's going to come back strong at 140. He's very talented, so athletic. And look, they call him the ghost for a reason. The guy's on one side, this side, that side. He'll turn you. He even turned Bartholomew back to the right spot to help him out one time there. It was a little subtle thing, but the bottom line is Frank Martin is a difficult guy to match up with.
And talk to me about now the partnership that he has with Buddy McGirt, because we were even talking as he was fighting, because you were telling me about all of some of the fights and the way that Buddy McGirt likes to fight. Yeah. And even Frank said that. He said, listen, you know, Buddy was talking to me about, he said, this guy is so athletic. He does things that he doesn't even know why he does them, but they're innate in him. Yes. And he goes, I just got to bring that dog out of this guy and use that athleticism. Is that what we saw here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Buddy McGirt was I told you earlier, I said, did you ever see Buddy McGirt fight? You said, yeah, he was unbelievable. What a great tactician in the ring. Plus, he was old school, had a lot of fights. And a great trainer. He's had a lot of success. You know, he's from my part of town in Los Angeles. So, you know, he's excellent, and I'm very happy for him. And I'm happy for Frank, because he's got one of the great coaches and great fighters of all time.
And you heard Frank Martin say that he will be watching the main event of the pay-per-view, because he would love to fight the winner of Lamont Roach or Isaac Pitbull Cruz. And he also called out the IBF champion Richardson Hitchens as well at 140 pounds. Listen, we're getting a little bit closer to the start of the PBC on pay-per-view. A phenomenal card that you're going to see, high stakes fights, world title fights, and you can get it by scanning that QR code you see right there, bottom right of your screen. You can use your phone, you can use any mobile tablet. You can get that pay-per-view. This is one of the reasons why you should buy these fights.
Isaac Pitbull Cruz, ferocious, fierce, all bite. Lamont the Reaper Roach, patient, precise, deadly. This isn't a battle, it's a war. This is war. Plus, warriors collide as Lara faces Gonzalez in a battle for the belt. This is war. Pitbull versus Roach, tonight live on PBC Pay-Per-View on Prime Video.
You can buy the pay-per-view. Scan that QR code, bottom right of your screen. You can use your phone, you can use any mobile tablet device you have to buy the pay-per-view, which comes your way at the top of the hour in about 20 minutes. We are in the Alamo City. We're in San Antonio. They also call this place the Big Fight Town because a number of legendary fights have gone on in this city. And we are in the Frost Bank Center for a night of action on pay-per-view. And in our main event tonight on pay-per-view, you are going to see Isaac Pitbull Cruz take on Lamont Roach. These two guys, well, they got a common opponent. Yeah, they both fought Gervonta Tank Davis. This was Isaac Cruz 4 years ago, and this was the fight where fans fell in love with the Pitbull.
Yeah, he was really an unknown commodity at that time. And after this fight, and look, he chased Tank around the ring a little bit. He had, Tank moving. So that's how effective Cruz can be. He's very effective at pressuring, and he's a hard hitter.
And then you go back to March, Barclays Center, New York City, Lamont Roach, Gervonta Davis. And listen, Roach said, I fought a flawless fight. I deserved to win. You saw Gervonta take the knee. It didn't get called a knockdown, and it ended in a draw, much to the dismay of Lamont Roach.
Yeah, that was a beautiful counter right hand by Lamont. That was a delayed reaction. Tank went down on one knee and then got up and ran over to his corner. It was a very bizarre set of circumstances, and I think Roach deserved the win that night.
Okay, so let's talk about this fight then, and let's start with Isaac Cruz, because you know with Isaac Cruz, it's going to be pressure, it's going to be aggression, and it's going to be a lot of the overhands coming right at you, and you got to withstand that.
Well, not just the overhands. I mean, Pitbull Cruz will come right out.
And body shots as well.
He'll start throwing that right hand to the body right away. And then if he gets opportunity, he'll start following up with left hooks to the body. But he will do one thing. He's going to get into your chest. He's going to chase you all night if you move. You're going to have to stand your ground at a certain point. But Roach is capable of doing that. He showed that against Tank. and his power seems more than his record shows. He's got a very stiff punch, and look, he's going to look to hurt Cruz, which is not easy to do. And I'll tell you, I'm really excited for this fight because you got two willing guys out there. Cruz is great. He's like a mini Tyson, and then you got Lamont Roach, who's just he's very versatile, all-around great fighter.
When you have a fighter like Pitbull, is there anything else you need to add to your game? We know what he can do with the overhands. We know the body shot. Is there something that or does he have to prove tonight, I can fight a boxer?
You mean does Cruz have to?
Yeah, does he have to? Because many people will look at this and say, you know what, he can't fight. Rayo showed.
Well, that was a very tall southpaw in Rayo, and that was a closer fight than people might think. Not just that, though. But the thing is that Cruz turns you into a boxer mover, whether you want to or not, because of his constant pressure. I mean, look at that Angel Fierro fight. That was like the fight of the past couple of years. And Fierro tried to stand his ground, but eventually he had to move away from that pocket because Cruz is just too much. Look, he's got very short arms. He doesn't have a lot of choice, Cruz. He's got to get close to you to hit you. So you may move away from him, but he's got great head movement, and he scoots in quickly, see, where he doesn't have slow feet. His footwork matches his head movement, so he gives you a lot to look at when he's coming at you.
He says that he believes that this could be a seminal moment in his career, a moment where he believes he can take over that mantle from Canelo as being the next Mexican-born pay-per-view star. He says only with a victory like tonight against Lamont Roach. So let's talk about Lamont Roach, because he's trying to prove to everyone, hey, that fight I had against Gervonta Tank Davis was no fluke.
No.
That I am a guy that a lot of these top fighters need to be aware of, because now at 130, 135, and now 140, I'm going to bring it, and he's got quite a task ahead of him in Isaac Cruz.
Yeah, listen, he got to be the 130-pound champ for a reason. He's really good. And I think, you know, that was probably the highlight of his whole career, was that Tank Davis fight. He was so well prepared for that fight that that he showed everything. He showed he could box, but he also showed he could stand his ground, and he really knew how to fight a southpaw. That's the thing, is that Lamont Roach really made some great head movement, great slips, and then came back with strong right hands. He worked the body well. He had a great jab. He's just athletic. Like I said, you have to be an athlete to beat somebody like Tank, and you have to be strong to get his respect. And that's exactly what Lamont Roach did. Boy, I'll tell you, I can't wait for this fight tonight. If I were at home, I'd definitely pay-per-view this one, because you got two guys that won't run from each other. They will fight each other, and it's top-level competition. To me, it's going to be the fight of the night.
Well, it is the main event that you will see on pay-per-view. It's at 140 pounds, and the winner walks away with an interim title.
Yep.
All right, San Antonio, it is great to be here in the Alamo City.
He's a man they call Pitbull.
The always exciting Isaac Pitbull Cruz Jr.
The name fits. Short, stout, built like pure trouble. Isaac Cruz fights with a relentless forward march. The kind of pressure that made Mexican boxing a global language.
Oh! Vicious overhand right.
And his ambition reaches higher still, to become the next great Mexican superstar.
La gente que se descita en el pay-per-view en la arena, pues va a ser testiga de que una nueva estrella mexicana va a nacer, y que pues Isaac el Pitbull Cruz va a ser un digno representante mexicano.
It's the sort of goal that's earned, not given. And so on December 6th, he'll confront the greatest challenge of his career.
He is the reigning WBA Super Featherweight Champion of the world,
Lamont Roach Jr. A different tempo, quiet, composed, a workman's calm in a world of noise.
A throwback fighter indeed.
They call him the Reaper. Not for what he says, but for what he takes.
Another right hand, another right, left, right. Roach! Shot from Lamont Roach.
Lamont Roach Jr. has his own plans. He's aiming to leave his mark across multiple divisions.
This fight with Pitbull and Lamont Roach is truly a 50-50 fight.
I'm going to bring old school boxing back. I'm going to bring boxing back to its glory days, and I'm definitely going to give you guys a banger.
Vamos a hacer una gran pelea, una gran noche, que la gente sea la ganadora y de aquí empieza a escribir su historia, saque el Pitbull Cruz para que pueda hacer su legado.
Their paths weren't meant to intersect until this moment. And when they do, the result promises to be as violent as it is defining.
Mis tiempos del día son muy específicos. Empezamos a las 4 de la mañana pues para aprovechar todo el día porque los días son pesados y los terminamos el entrenamiento a 2, 3 de la tarde para poder estar también un ratito con mi esposa, mis hijos. Yo lo que hago bien es entregarme pues a mi esposa, a mis hijos y a toda la gente que me apoya en cada noche, en cada pelea.
For all the chaos he creates in the ring, Isaac Pitbull Cruz is disarmingly straightforward outside of it. He works hard, speaks softly, and loves his family. With the biggest challenge of his career ahead, his thoughts remain with his children.
Pues mis hijos entienden que cuando estoy en estos puntos, pues aunque por más que quieran ellos y yo estar juntos, pues no se puede porque ahora sí que un día de no entrenar, un día de no ir a correr, un día de perder la dieta, pues es fundamental en nosotros.
At the moment, Mexican boxing has a power vacuum at the top. With the sun beginning to set on Canelo's illustrious career, Pitbull sees an opening.
Esta pelea es el parteaguas. Sí, sabemos de las capacidades físicas y mentales de las que tiene Roach, de lo que domina y de lo que puede llegar a dominar. Es un gran peleador. Pero al final del día, una nueva estrella mexicana va a nacer el próximo 6 de diciembre.
Pitbull has been in the fight game his entire life. Like his father and grandfather before him, he was wearing gloves almost as soon as he could walk. His first big break came in 2021, when he stepped in as a late replacement against Gervonta Tank Davis. It was a massive stage for the young Mexican contender, and he made the most of it, pushing one of boxing's biggest stars for 12 hard rounds. On paper, it was a loss. In reality, it announced Pitbull as a Mexican star in the making. A couple of years later came his marquee win, a pay-per-view co-headliner against heavy-handed Rolando "Rolly" Romero. The lead-up was ugly. Rolly talked non-stop, and the trash talk never let up.
Chihuahua, poodle, he kind of looks like a pug right now, so he's a little fat right now.
Contra el Rolly teníamos la oportunidad de nuestra vida. El día de la pelea pues no esperamos más para pasarle factura de todo lo que venía diciendo, de venía expresando.
A lot of people thought he lost that fight. He just got hit. He just got rocked by Cruz looking to drop Romero here in the fourth round. Romero's on inline skate.
For 8 straight rounds, Pitbull unleashed explosive haymakers, each one meant to convey a message.
Remember, Romero had a picture of Cruz on a piñata. Well, Cruz is going to go to the body like it's filled with candy here tonight.
In the end, the boxing world got exactly what it craves. An all-action fight, packed with heart.
Romero takes the shot, still standing, referee intervenes.
Isaac Cruz has done it! Viva Mexico! Isaac Cruz, a new 140-pound champion!
Nosotros estuvimos tranquilos, sabemos de lo que somos nosotros, de lo que somos capaces y de lo que podemos hacer dentro del ring. Y mis ganas de querer ser mejor es lo que me va a sacar adelante.
I shouldn't be paying for these. Not how many KDs I bought in my life. Come on, man. But these Reaper jumps, I had to get them.
A Reaper doesn't knock. He shows up, ready to collect.
We can play knockout.
Okay, let's get that work.
And while basketball might offer a lighthearted escape from the grind of camp, make no mistake, Lamont Roach Jr. is dead serious about the job ahead. But his style has always been to smile through the storm.
Yeah, no rules, we improvise. That phone red, but I'm still that guy. Take a life down, we just arrive, survive. Now it's real life, big move, no shame, we just do our thing.
I want smoke. Like, I'm competitive. That's the thing. I want to be the best.
Knock it down.
What I want to do in my career is take on guys that they probably think that I won't beat. A matchup where they be like, oh, I don't know if he's going to be able to do this. Like, that's what I like.
That might be it.
Should get that shot with the dog. The dog catch.
Summer 6, man. My boy about to go to work, man, you know? Regular shit, man. Get that victory.
The fight against Pitbull is the latest fuel to a fire that's driven Lamont Roach Jr. since the amateurs. Trained by his father since early days, the Reaper has risen step by step to his current reign as super featherweight champion. Along the way, he's proven himself a fighter whose agility isn't just physical, but tactical. Unbound by weight class, Roach is entering his 4th consecutive title fight in 3 different divisions.
I've always been the same confident person. I'm not overconfident. I'm not cocky. I do my work, and I believe in my work. I'm always going to believe in my work.
The Reaper put his belief to the test last March, under the brightest spotlight, when he faced undefeated superstar Tank Davis for the lightweight title.
He put fear in a lot of other people, so they already then lost the battle like before they got in the ring. But it's tunnel vision. Just ready to take over, like make our mark.
Round number 1.
First couple rounds, I thought I was in control.
Roach was far from the favorite that night, but he gave Tank unexpected trouble.
As the middle rounds come, like, he starts to open up a little bit, and I was like, now it's time to party. Like, this is what I've been waiting for. 7-12.
The right hand by Roach.
I hit him with a straight right hand. He was hurt.
Roach is having moments here, guys.
I hit him with a jab, backed up, looked at the ref, backed up again, took a knee.
He took a knee. He took a knee.
Butch Steve Willis started counting, but he stopped the count.
What's he doing?
After he got up off his knee and went to the corner, got his eye wiped out.
It's got to be a knockdown.
What in the world is happening?
You got to let me know when you're doing something. Yeah, but you took a knee. Listen to me. I understand. If you take a knee like that, that looks like a knockdown. All right?
He stops the count and tells him, hey, you can't do that. It looks like a knockdown. It is a knockdown, bro. What don't you get? Like, the rules are the rules. If that's a knockdown, that's a knockdown.
That's a generous call from the referee.
Did he not take a knee?
He did take a knee.
How did that happen? If that knockdown were to count it, I would have won.
The decision is a majority draw.
That robs me out of a championship in a new division. I was pissed. Like, that's what... I just feel like I shouldn't have lost. But you can't cry over spilled milk. Nobody's going to be able to deny that this guy is a talent, this guy is a fighter, and in the ring, he's exciting. We did what we had to do our last fight to get to that point. Now it's time to push full throttle.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
It's the pain that like actually drives you. It's just like, it's like this is what I gotta endure to make sure fight night goes as smooth as possible.
Come on, are we good? Let's go. There you go. There you go. Oh, up higher, up higher. Come dry.
People don't know boxing is like a super lonely sport. When you're in the ring, it's just you. Ain't nobody else taking punches for you. Ain't nobody else feeling that pain.
I want accolades on my name. I want to be known as one of those guys who were a multi-division world champ, like a unified champ and stuff like that. I want that on my name. I want to be able to write my name in the history book.
Gang.
Roach may be moving up to 140 to face Pitbull, but the step up is strategic, not permanent.
Our objective is not to necessarily become a 140-pound fighter. I'm flexible enough to do both. If I'm able to become a champion at 140, become a champion at 135, that'd be 3 weight classes for me. I want to eventually climb up that pound-for-pound list. Like, that's a goal of mine. I want to be recognized as one of the best pound-for-pound in the world. And that's why this fight is super, super, super important, because without this, you can't move, you can't advance forward with the plans that we have. You know, this is a major step. This is a super major step. You know, I'll turn a lot of Pitbull fans into Lamont Roach fans that night.
Es fácil hablar, pero a la mera hora cuando ven un Pitbull de frente, pues muy difícilmente le hacen frente al reto. Lo que tenemos planeado para Lamont Roach es pelearle al ritmo que él quiera pelear.
Oh, I'm a thumb with Pitbull for sure. Ring to your bad muff. He definitely got that, what they call it, machismo. He got that for sure. It's gonna bite him in the ass.
Si quiere salir a bailar, pues vamos a salir a bailar. Si quiere salir a pelear, pues vamos a salir a pelear. Porque nosotros siempre vamos a ir a entretener a la gente.
I like to fight, bro. I mean, it's always gonna be calculated, but I'm a thump, for sure. Take it out of the judges' hands. I'm always in that mode.
Vamos a ver pues Isaac y el Pitbull Cruz coronándose y consagrándose como campeón de las 140 libras del WBC.
Isaac Pitbull Cruz, ferocious, fierce, all bite. Lamont the Reaper Roach, patient, precise, deadly. This isn't a battle. It's a war. This is war. Plus, champions collide as Lara faces Johnny back in a battle for all the belts. Pitbull vs. Roach, Saturday, December 6th, live on PBC Pay-Per-View on Prime Video.
Well, we're in the Alamo City, also known as the Big Fight Town, San Antonio. And coming up at the top of the hour, it is the PBC on PPView. You can order the pay-per-view. Scan that QR code right now. Here's a look at the entire fight card. Folks, we're going to start with middleweights. Jesus Ramos, Shane Mosley Jr., the son of the Hall of Famer. They're going to fight for the WBC Interim title. And then you're going to see the middleweight champion, Erislandy Lara, the oldest male world champion in boxing right now. Erislandy Lara taking on Johan Gonzalez. Gonzalez, last-minute replacement for the unified champion Janabek, who came up positive for a banned substance, had to pull out of the fight. And in the co-main, how about Stephen Fulton Jr.? He's a featherweight champion, the WBC featherweight champion, fighting the 130-pound champion, O'Shaquie Foster. Stephen Fulton coming up in weight to challenge O'Shaquie Foster, but weighed in 2 pounds over the 130 limit. So now the WBC says this fight will take place at 135 pounds, and they'll fight for an interim title. And then in the main event, you're going to see the Pitbull, Isaac Cruz, taking on the Reaper, Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach fighting at 140 pounds for the first time in his career. It should be one hell of a main event. That is the entire fight card that comes your way at the top of the hour. You can buy the pay-per-view right now. Scan the QR code with your mobile phone or any mobile device you have, and you will see all 4 fights. World title fights, high-stake fights featuring world champions, former world champions. It is a fight card you don't want to miss. Well, for Justin Goosen Brown, Mauro Ranallo, Brian Campbell, Abner Morris, Joe Goosen, and Brian Custer. See you at the top of the hour.